by the World Wide Web Consortium in 1997. Also on this day in 2002, fashion designer Calvin Klein announces he's selling his company to shirt maker Philips Van Heusen for $430 million.
The concept is to drive these remotely controlled bodies called avatars.
James Cameron's Avatar in 2009, starring Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, and Sigourney Weaver, released in the U.S., becomes the highest-grossing film of all time. South Africa's ANC selects Cyril Ramaphosa as leader to succeed President Jacob Zuma in 2017. I'm CJ Papa. That's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Listen, I'm going to be straight with you. Pain just doesn't hurt your body. It steals your life. I know because I've seen it with people I care about, and maybe you're dealing with it right now. Here's what I love about Dr. Ashley Caravelli and QC Kinetics. They get it. They're not pushing surgery. They're not handing out pills. They're using your body's own healing power to fix what's broken. This is cutting edge. I've talked to people who've been through this. These are real results. No going under the knife, no medication fog, no sitting on the couch recovering, just your body doing what it was designed to do, heal itself. QC Kinetics gives you long-term relief. Make 2026 the year you get back to living without pain. They've got weekend appointments, free consultations, and you can use your HSA or FSA spending accounts. Your first consultation is free, so don't hesitate to call to find out more. Call 312-827-6261. Again, 312-827-6261. One more time, that number is 312-827-6261.
Temperatures are cooling, but not concerns about inflation, market volatility, and taxes. Revisit your financial plan this winter. BestGen Wealth Partners work with individuals to develop personalized plans that help navigate changing conditions with confidence. Visit GetRetiredStayRetired.com to learn more.
Advisory services offered through BestGen Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Private Client Services LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Private Client Services and BestGen Advisors LLC are unaffiliated entities. Any information discussed does not constitute investment advice. BestGen Advisors and Private Client Services do not offer tax legal advice.
Don't risk losing the news, sports, and weather that AM radio delivers. When cell and internet service fail, AM is your lifeline. With time running out, your voice matters. Text AM to 39179 and tell Congress vote yes on the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act to keep AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, doctors Economos, Gay Vallis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidiscipline practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technologies such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930, 630-830-4930, or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Ready for some holiday magic? Pack up the family and cruise over to Go-Bird's Farm in Pingree Grove, where 2 incredible Christmas light shows are waiting to light up your night. First up, the Go-Bird's Christmas Drive-Thru Light Show. We're talking millions of lights synchronized to music that'll have you cranking up the volume. Picture this: dancing penguins getting their groove on, snowflakes cascading all around you, reindeer galloping through enchanted fields, plus a dazzling tunnel of lights that's pure Christmas magic. But wait, there's more. The legendary Larson Christmas Light Show, the one everyone's been raving about from Campton Hills, is now right here on the Go-Bird's property. 30 minutes of jaw-dropping lights, spectacular special effects, and surprise character visits that'll make the kids lose their minds with excitement. Here's the best part. You can experience both shows in one epic night. Perfect for families, couples, or even your company party bus. Because yes, limos and party buses are totally welcome. Per vehicle pricing keeps it affordable, but grab your tickets online now because these shows are selling fast. Visit GoBirds.com for tickets, times, and all the details. Go-Bird's Farm, where Christmas dreams come to life.
Dan Proft here to tell you about our 2025 Food for the Poor campaign. If you've listened to this station and to our show for any length of time, then you already know about Food for the Poor. They are a nonprofit, faith-based organization that provides food, water, medicine, clothing, and life-saving supplies directly to local partners in Latin America and the Caribbean. We all know about how bad the situation is in Latin America and the Caribbean right now. Economic decline, political instability and corruption, and high food prices. The only thing standing between these families and starvation is Food for the Poor and their partners who are providing life-saving food relief on the ground. But in order to get food and water to those who need it most, Food for the Poor needs your help. Your gift of just $150 can provide food and water for 2 children for an entire year. For a gift of $300, you can provide food and water for 4 children for an entire year. To make a gift of any amount, just call 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673. Or visit 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor. And if you are a small business owner or you make the marketing or advertising decisions for a business, then you need to become a business benefactor. Just make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. And AM 560 will give you 40 one-minute commercials to air here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday at no additional cost to you. Lock in your 2026 marketing now at this incredible price. It really is the best deal in all of Chicago radio. You'll join a long list of businesses who are reaching AM 560's audience of affluent decision makers. And through the generosity of your business, you'll also be helping more than 30 children for a year. To take advantage of this deal, just call John Gallagher at 847-472-8950. Again, 847-472-8950. That number, one more time, 847-472-8950. Or go to 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor. That website again, 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Adult Beverage Solutions is looking for a brand ambassador in all areas for beverage sampling events. You have the ability to create your own schedule because most events take place Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays at local grocery stores and independent liquor stores. Flexible scheduling with the ability to choose events that you would like to work. Receive event pay weekly. State alcohol certification is mandatory for all ambassadors. Must be 21 years of age. Competitive pay with the opportunity to earn bonus for exceptional performance. Each event you will provide consumers with product education while collecting consumer feedback. If you are interested, our team would like to connect with you about this opportunity. Please email us at careers.abstastings@gmail.com with your information and where you are located, and our team will be in touch soon. Or check us out online at adultbeveragesolutions.com/join-now. That's adultbeveragesolutions.com/join-now.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today will be windy with periods of rain tapering off in the early afternoon. The high temperature will reach 50. Tonight, expect low clouds, breezy conditions, and much colder weather with a few snow showers. Be cautious of a rapid freeze-up as the temperature drops to a low of 12. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. So, your reaction to President Trump's prime time Christmas address to the nation last evening. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line and text line. For those who thought he was going to include a discussion, a detailed discussion of foreign conflicts, both resolved and unresolved, include perhaps offering the nation an explanation for the actions he's taking involving Venezuela, where that is going. Is this a regime change operation? Will there be land strikes? Is he going to seek congressional authorization? Are we going to do more than ratchet up the pressure campaign, including with the embargo that Trump announced. But no, it was specifically focused on pocketbook issues, both the predicate, what he inherited, what he has done, and where we are going, the good news that is coming early next year. That was essentially the construct, the skeleton of the speech. First, the Biden years had to offer a riff on who Biden's constituents were, of course, to contrast that from who Trump's constituents are.
For the last 4 years, the United States was ruled by politicians who fought only for insiders, illegal aliens, career criminals, corporate lobbyists, prisoners, terrorists, and above all, foreign nations which took advantage of us at levels never seen before. They flooded your cities and towns with illegal aliens. They decimated your hard-earned savings. They indoctrinated your children with hate for America. They just released a level of violent felons that we had never seen to prey on innocent. They caused war. They caused mayhem. They caused a horrible situation all over the globe. But now you have a president who fights for the law-abiding, hardworking people of our country, the ones who make this nation run, who make this nation work.
Okay, that was a good riff. And then he got into some of the specifics, the specific categories of cost of living, starting with wages. And he sort of offered a repetition of what you've heard from Kevin Hassett, top economic advisor, on the short list to be the next chairman of the Federal Reserve, which is, again, the damage that was done, the progress we have made with undoing that damage, but there's still a gap.
After years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has seen a wage increase of $1,300. For construction workers, it's $1,800. For miners, we're bringing back clean, beautiful coal. It's $3,300. And for the first time in years, wages are rising much faster than inflation. Remember that. The wages, just look at it. Wages are going up much faster than inflation. How big is that?
How big is that? The point is that we're catching up. We're restoring your purchasing power. We're not there yet, but it's coming. We're making progress towards resetting the balance between inflation and wage growth, and thus your purchasing power, reestablishing real purchasing power for the American people when it comes to those everyday items that are often discussed. And he went into gas prices and groceries and specifics, eggs and beef and so on and so forth. So, of course, the speech was punctuated with Trump superlatives, because he is, everything has never been seen before in terms of bad. Everything we're doing is unprecedented in terms of good. I mean, that's the way he speaks. I don't know that you need to spend a lot of time on some of his rhetorical excesses, his dubious statistics that are cited. Not those, what you specifically just heard, but some others with respect to drug prices and so forth. So, you get the always positive, and the superlatives flow very easily and repetitively. He also, though, talked about the new jobs. And again, here the focus being moving from a economy and an approach to the economy that was government-centric to one that is private sector-centric. And the jobs numbers point to this.
100% of all jobs created since I took office have been in the private sector. Think of that. 100% of all jobs have been in the private sector rather than government, which is the only way to make a country powerful and great.
That's true. We talked about it a bit with Steve Moore yesterday, down 270,000 jobs in the federal government, which is the lowest level in 30 years. Now, it doesn't seem like that much because the federal government has grown so large, but it still is movement in the right direction, both with reducing headcount in government and increasing the number of employed in the private sector. Tony, Downers Grove, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. He didn't have to say anything else. That's all he had to focus on, because the American public, they're not gonna grasp all the issues at one time. Mm-hmm. And the Democrats are going to hammer away at anything they want to. They're going to hammer away at affordability. And you know what? We said, well, when is he going to get out there front and center? And he's doing it. If he needs to address the other issues, he can call another address if that's what he wants to do. But the American public just can't grasp 6 things at one time.
So you were overall positive on the speech.
Absolutely, because they've been getting hammered on affordability at every turn. And when the Epstein files are brought up, when anything else is brought up, I think it's a distraction. That'll play itself out.
Thanks for the call, Tony. Well, I mean, Tony's right. It was singularly focused on cost of living, the improvements that have occurred in the first 10 months, and the additional benefits that are coming, the additional relief, the additional restoration of purchasing power, the increase in your take-home pay. And part of that, of course, as we have discussed, is the tax relief that's part of the BBB that takes effect in 2026. And he mentioned that.
No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Under these cuts, many families will be saving between $11,000 and $20,000 a year, and next spring is projected to be the largest tax refund season of all time.
So, good news is not, and good happenings not far in the offing. Although a little further in states like Illinois, because, of course, in the infinite wisdom of the political leadership of this state, starting with Governor Jelly Belly, not opting in to the no tax on tips. I hope some of those people who rely on tips as a significant portion of their take-home pay take judicial notice of Illinois zigging again, where most of the rest of the civilized parts of the country are zagging. One thing he did introduce that was a bit unexpected, the Warrior dividend. Thought he might go with the tariff dividend and offer checks, essentially quote unquote stimulus checks, or maybe you would call them purchasing power restoration checks, although it's not really lasting because it's a one-time check. But instead, he went with a Warrior dividend. We are celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country next year. We do have great admiration for our military men and women. It may be the one federal institution that still enjoys the support of a supermajority of the population, as well it should. And so the Warrior dividend.
Tonight, I am also proud to announce that more than 1,450,000, think of this, 1,450,000 military service members will receive a special, we call Warrior dividend before Christmas, a Warrior dividend. In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776. Think of that. And the checks are already on the way.
A little Christmas bonus to our military men and women. I think that's the way you look at it. I mean, that doesn't offend me. I mean, you start getting into stimulus checks and the flim-flammery of the left, and that gets a little bit more difficult to stomach. But a Christmas bonus for military men and women, on the occasion of, or the dawn of our 250th anniversary. Yeah, okay. All right. That's cool. Tina and Joliet.
Hi, good morning. I thought it was it was a long overdue, really good synopsis of the first 11 months of his second term. And I am getting so frustrated with having to talk Republicans off the ledge about what's happening and trying to remind people that there is a real dollar cost to living in a blue state. And a lot of what they're feeling is because of policies that have nothing to do with Donald Trump. And I think Pritzker has raised 49 taxes and fees since his big butt rolled into office. And there is that has been so impactful, coupled with the illegal immigration that we're dealing with. They just raised the tax levy in my school district again yesterday. There is zero concern for the taxpayers in the state of Illinois. They don't care because they know that all they have to do is point to Washington, D.C. and blame Donald Trump.
Thanks, Tina. Well said. Yeah, it is worth taking notice that, those West Lawndale residents burning their tax bills, those were, Cook County property tax bills. Those weren't bills coming due from the federal government, were they? The real dollar cost of living in a blue state. Yeah, it's substantial, especially in the state that has the highest combined state and local tax burden in the country, and that would be the land of Lincoln. Chris, on the Dan Ryan.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Just real quick, I understand that I listened to Trump's speech through highlights on MSNBC because I did it for you, so you don't have to do it. So my thing is that I was understanding that, the first 10 months of his tenure here in the presidency is only 10 months. It took almost 3 years for the Inflation Reduction Act to completely annihilate the middle class. So we have to give President Trump some time to make sure his bills and all the stuff that he's passed so far to take effect. And I agree with you, Dan. This Illinois is beyond reproach at this point in time in regards to taxes, and I'm not sure if I can handle this anymore. It's getting to the point now where my taxes have gone up almost 44% in the Kankakee County. So I'm not sure if I can stomach this anymore, Dan. I don't have the will that a lot of people do that in your show to kind of keep going. So that's all.
Well, yeah. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. It's not even necessarily will. It's the wherewithal, literally. Get taxed out of the state. That's what happens. All right, we'll tackle a couple of more aspects of Trump's remarks, take a few more of your calls and text 312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro line and text line. We'll do that at 5:38. Now we check the headlines.
Good morning. It is 42 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino and federal immigration agents are back in Chicago resuming the crackdown on illegal immigration. Some 33 people have been taken by authorities over the last 2 days. A federal judge had previously ruled that ICE had to release hundreds of detainees taken across the Midwest, finding that they were detained without proper warrants or probable cause. That ruling is being appealed. All but one of the ramps of I-80 at Center Street and Meadow Avenue in Joliet are set to close on Monday. The interchange is one of 6 that are being rebuilt as a part of ongoing efforts to rebuild and modernize I-80 from Ridge Road in Manuka to US 30 in Joliet and New Lenox. Those ramps are scheduled to reopen in 2028. Detours will direct traffic to US 6, Larkin Avenue, and Jefferson Street. Drivers should expect delays in those areas. This report is a service of SuperSure. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get super sure. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, not a little sure, but super sure. The seismic shift is coming. Super sure coming soon.
Larry Elder sees another paranoia.
There was a CNN report about the 2020 election. Their politics editor, Chris Cillizza, said 76% of the self-identified Republicans believe there was widespread fraud. However, 78% of Democrats feel the same way about the election that Trump won. But nobody calls them election deniers.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
That's cold!
Don't get stuck with the cold shower this winter. Give CenterGuard Plumbing a call. Get a new 40-gallon water heater installed for just $1,195 for standard installation, or a 50-gallon heater for $1,295 standard installation. A proud new sponsor of AM 560, CenterGuard is offering specials on new water heaters. Old man winter is here. Don't get stuck in the cold. And the same can happen to your water heater. If you're having hot water issues or your water heater's over 8 years old, take advantage of this winter special today. CenterGuard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. They'll even haul away your old one no charge. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive winter special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit CenterGuardPlumbing.com.
Hey, you want to give the gift they'll actually use this holiday? Peace of mind? Give the people in your life something that will protect them. Go to BYRNA.com today. They are the world leader in less lethal personal defense. It's compact, it's concealable, it's powerful. The newest Byrna Compact fits in a pocket, a purse, while delivering real stopping power for up to 60 feet away. I carry one every day. I recommend every family have a Byrna, every person have one. Now, it fires potent kinetic and aerosol rounds that can stop any attacker in their tracks for up to 40 minutes. It's legal in all 50 states. You don't need a background check. It ships right to your door. Byrna gives both the gift giver and the recipient peace of mind, not just for the holidays, but all year round and for many years to come. Protect your loved ones. Safety is priceless. Visit BYRNA.com today and find the right launcher for you and your family. That's BYRNA.com.
Check off the wish list with instant savings and free battery offers on select steel tools. Shop online or in store.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today will be windy with periods of rain tapering off by early afternoon. The high temperature will reach 50 degrees. Tonight, expect low clouds, breezy conditions, and a significant drop in temperature with a few snow showers possible. Be cautious of a quick freeze as the low dips to 12 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning. Dan Proft here talking about Trump's prime time Christmas address yesterday evening. Focused on America's economic security issues, quite simply. We were talking about his review of the decimation in purchasing power that occurred largely due to the policies of the previous administration and the progress that has been made to restore America's purchasing power. Wages are now outpacing inflation. That's good news. Jobs increasing in the private sector. Headcount being reduced in the federal government, which is appropriate. Private sector centric. That's how you make opportunity grow. And also a little bit of his warrior dividend. Mentioned that too. The $1,776 checks he's going to provide for America's military men and women. I saw that Pritzker tweeted about this. This guy, it's really something. Our veterans and active duty service members absolutely deserve relief. So why exactly is this administration cutting thousands of jobs from clinics across the country and taking health care away from those who have served our country? That's not happening. But those are the kinds of wild claims you get to make when you're a man of the left and there is no check. I mean, there's no interest in you nationally. And to the extent there is, you go on with Jake Tapper or Dana Bash or on MSNBC, they'll be as completely passive as the Chicago and Illinois press corps is with J.B. Pritzker. So you get to make outlandish claims and people just sort of shrug their shoulders and move on. They don't get challenged, especially when you don't have an organized opposition party back home in your state like Pritzker does not need to contemplate, consider. Anyway, back to some other things that Trump said, just folding in some of these other issues. On the matter of health insurance, of course, you have some weak-kneed Republicans that are folding with the Democrats to extend these subsidies rather than stick together and advance something approximating what Speaker Johnson has come up with the House or Senator Cassidy has come up with in the Senate that would provide some structural reforms to Obamacare. Trump talked about drug prices, talked about health insurance. Here's what he had to say on those topics for drug prices.
I negotiated directly with the drug companies and foreign nations, which were taking advantage of our country for many decades, to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. In other words, your drug costs will be plummeting downward. And I used the threat of tariffs to get foreign countries who would never have done it to pay the cost of this giant dollar reduction. They stopped ripping us off, and it began as of 4 days ago. There has never been anything like this in the history of our country. Drugs have only gone up, but now they'll be going down by numbers never conceived possible. It's called Most Favored Nation. And no president has ever had the courage or ability to get this done until now. The first of these unprecedented price reductions will be available starting in January through a new website, TrumpRx.gov. And these big price cuts will greatly reduce the cost of health care.
Maybe. That's one of those claims that it'd be better if you brought a little bit more humility to the issue. This is an expectations game in part. And when, it's always going to be Xanadu if we do this one thing, if we do, or I've already set the stage for Xanadu and it's coming, and then it doesn't come for a variety of reasons, then you wear the jacket for it. That's the sort of thing where, look, on the drug prices, yeah, he's had some confabs in the Oval Office with the Pfizer folks and the Eli Lilly folks, and he's negotiated some leveling of prices between the prices Americans pay for pharmaceutical drugs and those of other countries. We've talked about that in some detail, including with C.S. Tucker over at healthinsurancementors.com, who knows more about health insurance than anybody in America, truly. And I bumped up what Trump said last night to him, and he said, "Look, if Trump the pharmacist, TrumpRx.com, improves on what GoodRx.com is already doing, I'll be pleasantly surprised. At this juncture, it's anyone's guess." That's what C.S. Tucker said. He is, really an expert. If you have questions, honestly, just as an aside, I have sent so many people to C.S. Tucker and healthinsurancementors.com, see Stephen Tucker. And, they just rave because he knows every angle to this health insurance discussion and the policies and the proposals. So he's your go-to guy. And just to plug that too, GoodRx.com is obviously his default right now for best pharma prices. So just as an aside. On health insurance, it was less about touting any specific plan than more the idea of touting a change in the flow of money and power over spending decisions. And here, Trump is philosophically right. And he should keep repeating this line because, as I have often said, in support of school choice, and the same thing applies with choice in healthcare, you want to change any system, you change how the money flows and who gets to make spending decisions. And that's exactly what Trump proposed again last night.
The money should go to the people. That's you. So they can buy their own health insurance, which will give far better benefits at much lower costs. It will be far better health insurance. The current Unaffordable Care Act was created to make insurance companies rich. It was bad health care at much too high a cost. And you see that now in the steep increase in premiums being demanded by the Democrats, and they are demanding those increases, and it's their fault. It is not the Republicans' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. It's the Unaffordable Care Act, and everybody knew it. Again, I want the money to go directly to the people so you can buy your own health care. You'll get much better health care at a much lower price. The only losers will be insurance companies that have gotten rich and the Democrat Party, which is totally controlled by those same insurance companies. They will not be happy, but that's okay with me because you, the people, are finally going to be getting great health care at a lower cost.
That's a good riff. I wish some of these weak-kneed Republicans, particularly in the House, would take heed and fall in line. Joe in Naperville.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind, and you can't refute that. The glide path that he has put us on is the best glide path this country's ever been on. The problem that we run into in today's instant gratification society is everybody wants things now. I want to call up Uber. I want to call up, all these companies and get my eats now. So people are not going to be patient, and I believe he's going to lose the midterm because of it.
Thanks for the call, Joe. Midterm's a long way away. The other thing, though, too, one of the reasons people are impatient is because of the over-promising of politicians. As I said, this is going to be the greatest. This is unprecedented. It's happening. The best tax refund season ever. That actually may be true next year. But when you promise heaven on earth, people come to expect it. And when it's something a little less than that for them, who do they blame? The person that was running around making all these promises. It would be better. And I understand this is not his personality, so I'm not obsessing about this. I'm just saying, as a general rule, it would be better to do a little bit more with modesty. There's only so many things the government can do or should do, and then people have to carry their own weight in this country. That's how America became great. And that's how we make America great again. You got to carry your weight, too. This isn't sit back and let the federal government do everything for you and let other people pay for everything that you want. That's not how this works. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to set up a system that is fair, that respects people who play by the rules and carry their own weight. And we're going to reward them for doing so to incentivize others to follow suit. A little bit more adult and a little bit less Santa Claus. I mean, I don't want to go full Paul Tsongas here, tax on gas. I'm not Santa Claus. I don't want to do that, but just a little bit more like, stop looking to the federal government to solve all your problems for you. Is there any reason to believe the federal government is good at solving problems? Is there any reason to believe in Illinois your state government is good at solving problems? What we mostly believe as conservatives is that government needs to get out of the way, right? Set the rules of the game, let everybody compete, enjoy equal protection under the law, and then come what may. Everybody holds their own. Everybody abides certain baseline responsibilities. Adheres to certain civic standards. All this, you're going to get that, and I'm going to do this, and here are the opportunities it's going to open up. And if you keep doing what you're doing, whether you're a miner or a factory worker or a small business owner, then you're going to enjoy the fruits of your labor in a way that you haven't before, because I'm getting a sclerotic regulation out of your way. I am providing a restraint on government, so you're going to keep more of what you make, and you can invest it. You can put the down payment on that home you want. You can make sure that the kids can go to private school or the college of their choice, whatever it is. Then you chart your own course with it. Rather than it's going to be this, it's going to be that. It's all at the beneficence of the federal government. Ron, Southside.
Hey, Dan, this issue, just like choice in education, is very, very important to me. You had a legislator on almost a month ago, Dan, and he's a doctor. And he said this lady, I think she wanted to kill herself because of the cost of insurance. But now, here we go. This same old broken record. How long have we been hearing about Obamacare? So stop the talking and fix it. And I will say this. I am fortunate for 40-some years that I worked. I always had good insurance through my employer. Yes, I do have Medicare now. But I don't want to see people's life destroyed through bankruptcy because they don't have health care. You know, I had a couple of seats and I saw what the cost is. But you had someone on this airway and called out and said, oh, you know, these people, they losers and bust outs. Everyone that needs health care is not a loser. It's one of the most ignorant statements I heard on this airway. Okay? You know, that's you don't make those kind of assumptions. So stop the talking and just come up with a good plan. It's just like we were talking about the David and Flick. It's the Democrats' fault. Democrats, you're in control. Get something done, and like you say, Dan, involving choice in the market. Have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Ron. Well, yeah, no, I know. Rather than, as I said, we talked about this with Steve Moore yesterday. Oh, they're running commercials with, people are going to die if their temporary Obamacare subsidies that were just conferred 2 years ago are not extended. Well, they didn't die prior to those subsidies being conferred. But that's not even the point. Well, this is why we just have to extend the subsidies and then figure it out later. Well, then you're just playing by the left's game. You get cowered because they're going to demagogue you on this issue, because they're going to demagogue you on this issue and every issue anyway. So make an argument. Make a case. Go out there, pick up the Cassidy bill or, the Johnson bill in the House, which are relatively close substitutes for one another, and make the case. This whole thing, this whole Rube Goldberg Obamacare scheme for the last 15 years is why you have less choice and pay higher prices. It has eliminated competition in the health insurance market, consolidated under these oligopolist healthcare conglomerates that wrote the bill in the first place because they knew it would be to their advantage. It turned out to be a big shield for them to gain market share. So make the case for choice in healthcare, consumer-focused healthcare, provider and customer connected like we do for school choice or any other sector of our economy. And Ron is right. Yeah, I know it's a slim majority in the House, and that is a very difficult executive challenge for Mike Johnson. But you have the House, you have the Senate, you have the White House. If you don't get something substantial done, nobody's going to want to hear about it was difficult because we have Mike Lawler and he's from New York and he's in a swing district and we have this one and we have that one and they're afraid or the mean people are running nasty commercials. Nobody cares. I don't care. You were given the reins of power. 2 years in, what will we have seen you do with them? 1 year in, right now. There's been some accomplishments. Imperfect, but we understand they'll be imperfect. But just extending terrible big government policies of the left because you're afraid to do something structural, even if it is imperfect, but it advances the cause in the direction of markets as opposed to government, as opposed to central planning. If you're afraid to do that or you can't get your party together to do that, then your party deserves to pay a price. Greg in LaGrange.
Good morning, Dan. How are you today?
Good, thanks.
I'll do you one better on Stephen Tucker. I took your advice. I called him. He picked up the phone. He talked to me. We set up an appointment in May of 1968 when I'm eligible for Medicare. I I can back your words. I can back his words. Believe me, the man is an expert.
Yeah.
And he cares.
Yeah. He's
Second
great.
of all, I want to
Yeah.
thank you, Dan, for that recommendation. That was fantastic. You are a constant improvement in my life. I want to back
That's what
Ron.
very few people say, Greg, so I appreciate that. Yeah. Something I do not hear a lot. Thank you.
I want to back Ron 100%. This is almost like deja vu because I followed his call right after that caller basically made that comment about healthcare people needing healthcare being, not worthy or not working hard enough to actually deserve the good healthcare. Well, let me tell you something. Ron was right then. Ron was right now. I was right then backing him. The Republicans have to get something done. Quit being weak-kneed and cowardly and fight. Everybody's got something they have to fight through this time of the year. Just fight. Get back to being a country that cares. The other thing with Donald Trump, and I'll defer to you that he has time before the midterms, but when people say healthcare costs are going up because of policies, this or that, or subsidies, who's getting hired in healthcare? It's not the people that care for the patient. It's the administrators. It's everything around them. So what should be done is everything should be done to limit that kind of hiring, cut back on that waste, fraud, and abuse, and start focusing on people care and providers. And one last thing before that is why can't we get pricing for drugs fairly consistent across the country? If Donald Trump and his administration, the one I voted for, and I would happily vote for again, would do something like that, you would see improvement. Now, whether those improvements happen before the midterm, I hope they do. That will be something that will show people that promises and words do bear fruit when you have real men and women leading the country that care for the individual and care for our republic and what this country stands for.
Thanks for the call, Greg. Appreciate it. I mean, there's all sorts of talk about the middlemen, and it's not just the health insurance companies. It's also things like PBMs, which are owned by the health insurance companies, the pharmacy benefit managers, too, that disconnect patient from doctor, client from provider. There's also, and this is actually something Mark Cuban a few weeks back testified in a congressional committee about. Not everything he said was correct, but a lot of it was in terms of his criticisms of PBMs and how they inflate and distort the health insurance marketplace and specifically the pharma marketplace. So there are all kinds of things that can be done here. But one of the things with respect to this story about a handful of House Republicans defecting and signing on with Hakeem Jeffries is just extend the benefits so they can go home and say, I protected your subsidies to people making $250,000. This is where the policing your own party comes in. This is where you have to have mechanisms to institute discipline. And so, you're getting nasty commercials from the left in these swing districts about you're a mean guy if you don't support just blindly extending these subsidies rather than making structural reforms that improve quality by expanding choice and reducing costs for all in the system. All. If that's the way you want to play it, then you're going to get hit from the right. You're going to get hit from free market types. And we have super PACs too. We have C4s that are for market-oriented health care and health insurance reforms, and you're going to get hit from them, and they're going to peel off some of those voters in your base, so you're going to lose anyway. If you think you're going to lose from the left, you're going to lose from the right. And I know we can't afford to lose anybody. The midterms are going to be tough enough, but if you don't institute discipline, then you're setting the stage to lose the midterms, to lose control of chambers, because you don't get done what you need to get done to hold the party, to have a record of accomplishment that you can point to. And people say, yes, substantively, they are true. That is correct. That is true. That improved my life, what they did there. And it took political courage, and it took a unified approach. And they stood in opposition to the party that just wants to write checks off other people's accounts forever and ever. And we know that doesn't work. So all this, we always say, oh, well, we can't do it now because we can't risk to lose anybody. But the reason you're risking losing anybody is because you're not doing it now when people haven't trusted you with political power. I tried to make this case for no fewer than 20 years in the Illinois Republican Party, and it fell on deaf ears to those with leadership titles in the party. And by the way, you may want to look around and realize that we have been in the super minority. Increasingly so. The super minority gets smaller and smaller over the last, since Obamacare, because they chose the spoils of war approach. They chose the protect our own at all costs, no matter what they do, no matter what they throw in with tax increases, big government gambits, leftist cultural Marxism, whatever. As long as they have an R next to their name, that's good enough for me. Nope. That's a way to destroy your party from the inside, something the other side can't do. There's still time. I hope House Republicans can get their act together. It's now 6 o'clock in AM 560 WIND Chicago.
President Trump insists he's fixing a mess he inherited. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
They flooded your cities and towns with illegal aliens. They decimated your hard-earned savings. They indoctrinated your children with hate for America.
And in a primetime White House address, President Trump told us,
over the past 11 months, we have brought more positive change to Washington than any administration in American history.
He insists he's making things more affordable after Biden-era inflation.
Now, under our leadership, they are all coming down and coming down fast.
And the president announced with all the revenue coming in from his tariffs on imports from around the world, he's giving military members a bonus ahead of America's 250th birthday.
We are sending every soldier $1,776.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer was critical of the Trump address last night, saying the president lives in a bubble. People are feeling financially squeezed harder and harder every day. The president did not bring up last night his crackdown on Venezuela, from an oil tanker blockade to the U.S. military operation some Democrats call illegal, blowing up boats said to be trafficking drugs off Venezuela's coast, with another strike yesterday killing another 4 alleged narco-terrorists. Now to the manhunt for the Brown University shooter.
Police are now asking the public for help in identifying this second person seen walking in the same residential neighborhood as the primary person of interest right before the deadly school shooting. Now, police don't even know this person's gender.
Fox's Brian Yanis in Providence, where police also say they have DNA and other evidence trying to find the gunman who murdered 2 students on Saturday and wounded 9 others. Pope Leo has just appointed the next Archbishop of New York, somebody who's also from Illinois, like he is. Bishop Ronald Hicks will replace the retiring Cardinal Timothy Dolan, who's considered a prominent conservative within the U.S. Catholic Church. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It is 42 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino and federal immigration agents are back in Chicago, resuming the crackdown on illegal immigration. Fox's Mike Tobin tells us why.
When Chief Bovino and the El Centro Sector Border Patrol agents left Chicago, took their operation to Charlotte and New Orleans, Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson posted on X that they had been forced to retreat. So they brought their operation back, came back to Chicago. They did a big airlift that involved hauling the armored SUVs inside a C-130, and they brought 100 agents. They went back to familiar areas. Whistles blared, crowds formed up, and the crowds got aggressive. One man threw a rock that went through the rear window of a rented SUV agents were driving, and that resulted in a chase through an alley. Santo Joel Gonzalez Rodriguez was chased down. Border Patrol says he's in the U.S. illegally from Mexico. He's got a criminal past, including domestic battery, aggravated assault, and burglary.
A pedestrian has been killed and 2 officers injured when they were struck by a 73-year-old man who was driving an SUV yesterday. According to reports, the man struck the car that the officers were in, then continued on hitting other vehicles until he entered a drugstore parking lot where a 78-year-old man was struck. That victim was transported to the hospital. He later died. The officers and the driver of the SUV, as well as several other people that were in cars that were hit, were also transported to the hospital but are expected to survive. And Chicago Bears CEO and President Kevin Warren says the organization's goal to build a world-class stadium is still the goal, but the venue may end up being in Northwest Indiana. In an open letter to Bears fans, Warren noted that Arlington Heights was the only location in Cook County that met the requirements needed for the new stadium. However, Warren says the organization organization has encountered a lack of cooperation with lawmakers, and that has caused the organization to expand their search for a new locale, and that includes areas in Northwest Indiana. This news update is a service of Quick Delivery Service. When you need same-day delivery, when you need the fastest service, when you need a last-minute delivery, go to quickdelivery.com and get a quote right now. That's quickdelivery.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Would you like to have your mortgage or rent paid for all of 2026? That sounds like a Christmas miracle, doesn't it?
This is what Christmas is all about.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what AM 560 The Answer wants to do for you. Go to 560theanswer.com/miracle to enter our Christmas Mortgage Miracle Contest. Enter once per day, every day, between now and December 20th. You can have your rent or mortgage paid for all of next year.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Nice. Go to 560theanswer.com/miracle. Sign up for the AM 560 Answer Advantage to get early alerts on event ticket sales, special discounts, and contest opportunities. Sign up today at 560theanswer.com/advantage.
Dan Proft here to tell you about our 2025 Food for the Poor campaign. If you've listened to this station and to our show for any length of time, then you already know about Food for the Poor. They are a nonprofit, faith-based organization that provides food, water, medicine, clothing, and life-saving supplies directly to local partners in Latin America and the Caribbean. We all know about how bad the situation is in Latin America and the Caribbean right now. Economic decline, political instability and corruption, and high food prices. The only thing standing between these families and starvation is Food for the Poor and their partners who are providing life-saving food relief on the ground. But in order to get food and water to those who need it most, Food for the Poor needs your help. Your gift of just $150 can provide food and water for 2 children for an entire year. For a gift of $300, you can provide food and water for 4 children for an entire year. To make a gift of any amount, just call 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673. Or visit 560theanswer.com/food for the poor.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pain, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your routine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Simply call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, don't let it keep you from living the life you want. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
When you're looking to make your business bulletproof, what comes to mind? Trustworthiness? Accuracy? Truthiness? Well, that's not even a real word. In today's competitive business landscape, considerations like trust, attention to service, accuracy, and knowledge are critical. So is cost, and finding the right balance is important, especially where your business insurance, employee benefits, and executive compensation needs are concerned. For bulletproofing your business, remember DSP Insurance Services. DSP is family-owned and has provided comprehensive risk management solutions and strategic excellence across industries for over 40 years. Business owners continue to partner with DSP because they offer the robust services of a national broker, yet a personal touch that is harder than ever to find these days. Contact DSP Insurance Services for a business and risk audit today. Visit online at dspmybusiness.com. That's dspmybusiness.com. DSP Insurance, your outsourced risk management department since 1981.
At AlmostFreeTeeth.com, they're dedicated to making smiles great again. If you have medical PPO insurance, find out how you could save 90% off on average to get a beautiful dental implant-supported smile. Check if you qualify right now at AlmostFreeTeeth.com.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Good morning, and it's a great morning on the Eden. No major slowdowns or delays from Lake Cook to Montrose. 15 minutes inbound, outbound is 14. The Kennedy looks great. Inbound from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange, 18 minutes, outbound is 23. The Eisenhower also looking good inbound from Wolf to the Old Post Office, 16 minutes, outbound is 15. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore is 20 minutes, 16 minutes on the outbound side. We are stop and go on the inbound Bishop Ford from 111th Street to the Dan Ryan. On the Dan Ryan from 95th to Burn Interchange, 16 minutes inbound. Outbound is 12. This report is a service of Fox Valley Coins. No waiting, no problems, no charge for in-store verbal appraisals. Bring your gold or silver in today. FoxValleyCoins.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be windy with periods of rain tapering off by early afternoon. The high temperature will reach 50 degrees. Tonight, expect low clouds, breezy conditions, and a significant drop in temperature with a few snow showers possible. Be cautious of a quick freeze as the low dips to 12 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Sports and politics and sports and politics and sports and politics and intersection. Arrogance and ignorance, arrogance, ignorance, and arrogance and ignorance. Intersection.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. I want to talk about the Bears, but I just have to quickly remark, we'll talk about it later in the show. Did the report from Fox News at the top of the hour say that Providence law enforcement officials don't know the gender of the shooter at Brown, that they murdered 2 people and injured 9 others in that classroom at Brown University? They don't know the gender, the sex of the person? Have you seen the recent photos that have been distributed by local law enforcement, including the Providence police, including one that zeroes in on the face of the person of interest that they're looking for, the person they said did like a 6-hour casing of the campus? If you've seen the picture, I'm not sure it's the student whose profile they scrubbed from the Brown University website. There's some similarities physically, but this person whose picture is circulating now is darker complected, as far as I can tell. Regardless, it's a fat dude. What do you mean you don't know the sex of the shooter or the person that you're suggesting is the shooter by saying we want to find this guy? And you want to tell me that politics doesn't have anything to do with how they're approaching this investigation in Providence? 5 students have said the shooter yelled Allahu Akbar before he opened fire. And you won't comment on that. And now you're pretending you don't know the gender of the person you're looking for. What are you talking about? Good Lord. Okay. I mean, I just was jarred when I heard that. And I'm not blaming Fox News. They're reporting on what local law enforcement is saying. Okay. Back to the Bears. So Chicago is now in 3rd place. And I'll tell you what, if Decatur makes a bid for the Bears to return to Decatur, I think Chicago might fall to 4th place in the race to host the Bears. This is worse than the 2016 Olympic bid when Chicago got knocked out in the first round by Madrid and Tokyo. Anyway, the Chicago Bears, as you heard, considering moving to Northwest Indiana because Illinois lawmakers won't approve the financial incentives they say they need to build a new stadium in Arlington Heights. Bears President and CEO Kevin Warren confirmed the possibility of crossing state lines, but the organization would also consider sites in other parts of Illinois. Like I said, Decatur, hello. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. What should be the name of the the nickname, the Hammond Gary Bears? I mean, we might as well start spitballing now and help our neighbors to the east. Makes some sense to go to Northwest Indiana since so many Chicagoland residents have gone there. We're looking for opportunities that may exist in the Chicagoland area, including Northwest Indiana. We still believe Arlington Park is the most viable location in Cook County, but now we're putting everything back on the table and exploring all options. Indiana, earlier this year, created the Northwest Indiana Professional Sports Development Commission for the purpose of attracting a major sports organization such as the Bears. The Colts just aren't cutting it for Indiana, apparently. Warren saying, Northwest Indiana is in our home marketing area. Yes, we know. From a TV, media, radio rights standpoint and our fan base, it's an extension of Chicago. It seems like it would provide a viable opportunity. Now, what I think is this is a lot of gamesmanship by Kevin Warren, just as it was gamesmanship when he was pretending that the Bears were may still stay at Soldier Field and was having conversations with the mayor, so the mayor could say we're still in talks, we don't want them to leave, so on and so forth, just like Triple Threat before BLM Brandon, of course. But as soon as they purchased the property, the Arlington Park property, I mean, it was over. I mean, it just never made any economic sense. This is so basic. Yeah, we want to do another decade-long lease with the Park District. And it's a great venue, but it's a very difficult venue to get to. It's a hassle, frankly. Or we can have our own property. We own it. We can do like what the Ricketts have done with Wrigleyville, or what Rams have done with SoFi, the footprint there, and have a brand new all-weather stadium, domed, so you can host other sporting events, Final Four, whatever, and concerts and so on and so forth, and then have restaurants and hotels and probably 2 to 3x the value of the franchise overnight. Should we do that, or should we sign another lease with the Chicago Park District? I mean, come on. Not to mention, where's our fan base? Well, part of it's in Northwest Indiana, and the other part of it is in the suburbs. That's where our season ticket holders are. Increasingly so as people flee the city or the state. So, I think this is more gamesmanship to try to put pressure on Jelly Belly and the legislators to sweeten the pot for them. I also don't know. I mean, they got the property tax relief they ultimately wanted from Arlington Heights, to no one's surprise. I don't know the specifics of the statements. I mean, the incentives that the Bears are looking for from the state, or that they should get them. But if you're Kevin Warren, of course you're going to go in a state that's a rent seeker's paradise like Illinois. Of course you're going to go and try to sweeten the pot and use other people's money free of charge as best you can. So that's what he's doing. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Need a new nickname for the Gary or Hammond Bears. Mike Braun, the governor of Indiana, he's pretty excited. Chicago Bears recognize Indiana's pro-business climate, and I'm ready to work with them to build a new stadium in Northwest Indiana. The move would deliver a major economic boost, create jobs, and bring another premier NFL franchise. Another premier NFL? The Colts. Another premier NFL franchise to the Hoosier State. Let's get it done. Let's get her done. Yeah. And the precedent is New York Giants, New York Jets playing East Rutherford, New Jersey. So it's not like it hasn't been done. Do you care, Bears fans, if you have to jump over into the Hoosier State to go to a game, or if they're playing in a state not named Illinois? Does it bother you? Ryan in Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I was just calling to say that the state should just call their bluff. I don't think anybody wants to drive to Northwest Indiana out of the suburbs. It's a miserable place to drive into. The traffic is never good. So, I think they're just trying to leverage the state, and that's it. Thanks.
Thanks for the call, Ryan. Yeah, the Arlington Heights, the Arlington Park, that's also nice logistics. There's so many, thoroughfares in and around there. It's not like, you don't get funneled into gridlock like you do trying to get to the lakefront or Northwest Indiana to some extent, depending on where exactly they might site it. Bill on Northwest side.
Yeah, we can go from Hoosier Daddy to Hoosier Bears.
Hi-oh. Thanks for the call. Lou, Chicago Heights.
Well, a couple of years ago, the state of Indiana created a sports authority. Now, Cincinnati doesn't want to build a new stadium for the Bengals, and Jacksonville's looking for a new home. So it's been a long time that the NFL wants to bring a second team, and Northwest Indiana would be the area. They got all that lakefront. Second of all, the White Sox lease is going to be up, and they're going to be looking for a new home.
Well, yeah, but Ishbia has already said they're going to, and he's trying to get Pope Leo to come throughout the first pitch. He's going to build a stadium in that along the Chicago River and the South Loop.
Okay, yeah. That's another easy way to get to. Plus, property in Northwest Indiana and the Gary, the property values are going up because, like Miller Beach, because you can't go any further south in Indiana because so many people have moved there because the price and the cost of living and the safety is a huge issue. 10 years ago, everybody said they were from Chicago who lives there. Now they're from Northwest Indiana. You go to Valparaiso, St. John, Crown Point, those properties are worth a lot of money today. People in Chicago have no conception what Northwest Indiana is like. They used to employ 50,000 people a day that would work in those mills and get into that city by car every day. So I don't think transportation is going to be that big of an issue. That's my take on it.
All right. Thanks for the call, Lou. Good comments. Yeah, interesting thing about Jacksonville, too, because, of course, Jacksonville's owner, Shad Khan, is, he was a Chicagoan. He went to U of I. That's where, he was educated before he went and made his fortune. Would he come back to the Midwest? No. Maybe if Braun can't get the Bears, maybe he can make a play for the Jags. I don't know. Dan and Lyle.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Yeah, it's we're just falling into the same game that we always fall into. There's no conflict between the state and the Chicago and the Bears. It's just theater to make it seem like there's this tug of war, like people are actually looking out for our best interest. And it's just theater to get us to accept the tax increase we're going to get later when they decide to build a new stadium. This is the same thing they always do. Act like there's this fight between the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. I mean, come on, please.
Well, there's definitely a fight between the city of Chicago. The city of Chicago doesn't want to lose them. That's for sure. Brandon Johnson and the Pilots don't want to lose them, but you're right in the sense that it's like, tell us how much you want us, and if you really want us, then you have to give us all of these tax breaks. Right. No, I agree with that for sure. 100%. Show me you love me. Don't just tell me, you got to show me. And that means, those special deals that everybody gets. Right, I said it's a rent seeker's paradise. So Kevin Warren, it's his job to try to get as much of other people's largesse that he can get for free. And this is a state that gives it away for free all the time. So why not? Amish texter, the Dire Bears. Then we can all be dire hard Bears fans. Oh, not bad. Jose, Dallas, Texas.
Hey, Dan, good morning. Can you explain to me, this never made sense. They buy property in Arlington Heights, which I believe is in Cook County, to leave Chicago, which is in Cook County. Why not buy property in Lake County where they're headquartered?
Oh, yeah, like up Deerfield Way or, not Deerfield, Lake Forest Way. Yeah, Lake Forest Way. Well, Decatur's a bit of a hike from Chicagoland. I don't know if we're going to go back to Decatur. But, of course, it's because that property is such a unique property, the Arlington Park property. It was iconic when it was Arlington Park, but it's such a great piece of property, great location in the northwest suburbs, easy access for Collier County residents, relatively easy access, easier than going to the city for the most part. And that's like center cut for the suburban, exurban population. And so that plus the land, I think, makes it a really attractive deal, especially if you get the property tax relief that Arlington Heights now promised to confer. And if you can have the state throw in a few shekels too, why not? Makes sense. Thanks, Jose. And, frankly, when it comes to property taxes, you don't, the difference in Cook County, you basically have commercial that subsidizes residential. So, yeah, I mean, the collar counties might not be, much more attractive in terms of the sort of tax burden that would be imposed. Although, it's sort of a moot point because wherever they go, they're going to be angling for a sweetheart deal, which is what's happening right now. John in Cherville.
Yeah, Dan, your favorite golf course, Briar Ridge Bears.
Well, you don't want to tear down the golf course.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's right there, and then you got 1% maximum assessed valuation, so the Bears will have no tax. It's outstanding. A good value.
That's true. Thanks for the call. The property tax caps in the Hoosier state make it more attractive. That's for sure. You don't need a special deal. Everybody gets the special deal. That's how a well-governed state works, by the way, as opposed to a rent-seeking kleptocracy like this one. The contrasts are really interesting. So I'm sort of glad that Kevin Warren has invoked Northwest Indiana because now we can talk about how the two states manage their affairs, compare and contrast. Russ in Palos Heights.
Hey, thanks, Dan, for having me. Kevin Warren is probably surprised McCaskey by fumbling everything he's ever touched. Even when you look at the letter that he wrote, the very long run-on sentence letter, I suspect that he's doing that and claiming the Indiana thing to try to cover his many fumbles. And I would be really surprised if you see Kevin Warren in any shovel display when they dig for new ground anywhere. I think he's a goner.
Oh,
he's
really?
covering himself.
Well, thanks for the call, Russ. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything like that. And, this is an organization that had Ted Phillips as their president for so many decades. How'd that go? I don't know. Robert, Bloomingdale.
Good morning. I think they should move to Kenosha. It's a lot easier. Traffic's better. I think Kenosha, Wisconsin's where they should go. How long does it take to get from Chicago there? A few minutes. Nope.
Thanks for the call, Robert. I mean, I think moving into Indiana is one thing. Crossing the Cheddar Curtain to play in Wisconsin, I don't think that Bears fans could stomach that. That's just a bridge too far, Robert. Indiana, okay. Iowa, okay. Wisconsin, the Cheeseheads, the home of the Packers, making that an intrastate rivalry? Come on, Robert. Jerry, Milwaukee.
Yeah, good morning, Dan. Just a question, and this can apply to any city with a sports franchise. Why are these suburban governments and all governments so quick to provide property tax relief to these franchises that really cater to a very narrow segment of the population? But the ordinary citizens, they can never get property tax relief. They have to just about... I don't know, you can't do it.
100%. Thanks for the call, Jerry. Because they're panderers. Because politicians are panderers. What do you mean, why do they do it? Because they're panderers. They put their Bears jersey on and say, I'm a super fan. Because they're pathetic. That's why. Because they can't say, you know what, I'm a Bears fan, but here's my philosophy on private businesses, including sports teams and their stadiums. These are businesses that are worth billions of dollars. You can buy property privately. You don't need our help. You can build stadiums privately. You don't need our help. You figure it out. I'm not building, I'm not, if the state, I'm not going in as a partner to build a data center. I mean, I know Pritzker does that with Chinese EV battery plants, but that's not good public policy. And it's not good public policy to do it for any other private business. We're just not, this is the kind of leadership you could have. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it for anybody. That's not a proper role of state government, but that's not how it works in Illinois and most places. And by the way, there's been a lot of research on these publicly financed or partially publicly financed stadium deals. And they're almost always losers and big losers for the taxpayers who finance them. The Comiskey Park, the G-Spot, whatever they call it now. I mean, that was a complete dog. Terrible deal for taxpayers that Jim Thompson and Jerry Reinsdorf inked. So, I can't be a fan if I don't throw other people's money at it. Yeah, you can. But I mean, that would take, sort of principled leadership. That would take people in office that have a certain philosophy about the things government should and shouldn't do. Do we have those people in Illinois? No, we do not. Jose, Midway.
Yeah, who are we kidding? Jelly Belly's waiting for the envelope to drop, because if Michael Madigan gets out, he's going to beat him to the envelope. Let's not kid ourselves. I'll hang up and listen.
Thanks for the call, Jose. There's the proper cynicism. That's what I like to hear. Mark, Oak Lawn.
Hey, Dan, thanks for taking my call. The McCaskies, they have so much tradition. And the biggest thing I remember was back when they announced the new coach. They've had more coaches than Kim Kardashian's had husbands, but that's a different story. They hired Dave McGinnis as their new coach years ago. Mike McCaskey, God bless his soul, he's passed away, but he forgot to make an announcement. One thing he forgot to do. He never called Dave McGinnis and he asked him if he wanted a job, and Dave McGinnis just turned him down like a rock going into Lake Michigan.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was just brutal.
No thanks.
It's almost like the Brandon Johnson in the Illinois Assembly. It's like a match made in heaven with the Bears, how stupid they are and how stupid the Illinois Assembly is. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Mark. Text from 219, that's Indiana. If placed in Northwest Indiana, convenience would be off the charts. Every Friday there's a caravan of Illinois plates going to Michigan toward their lake houses. They could catch a Bears game on the way. True point. That's true. Can't argue with that. Joe, Hoffman Estates.
Hey, Dan, if they moved to Indiana, they could change their nickname to We Couldn't Bear It Anymore. And then on the helmet, have Chicago in the background with a dumpster fire in front of it. Good look.
All right, Joe. One more sports and politics item. I just have to get in. I don't have to spend a lot of time on it. The NPR Times, government-funded media, propaganda, more accurate, with the college playoff starting this weekend, and bedwetting Golden Domers still bitching about Notre Dame being left out of the playoff. This piece, Scoop Jackson, of course, only with the identitarian media in Chicagoland. They say Marcus Freeman's race, Notre Dame's CFP exclusion are connected, yet the situation seems off. Notre Dame was frozen out of the playoff because because college football is racist against Marcus Freeman, the black coach at Notre Dame. I mean, are you serious? They are. And listen, bedwetters, Notre Dame, bedwetters, you don't belong in the playoff. You chose to have a cream puff schedule where your only quality win is against USC. You lost the head-to-head to Miami. You may be a better team than Miami, certainly by season's end. You lost the head-to-head. It's always the first tiebreaker. You have one fewer loss than Bama. I know, but Bama has 4 quality wins. They play an SEC schedule, not the cream puff schedule you play against Army and Navy and the U.S. Coast Guard. So, cry me a river, Golden Domer bedwetters and race hustlers at the NPR Times. Let's check the headlines.
Good morning. It's 42 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. Windy today, periods of rain ending early in the afternoon with a high of 50. Tonight, we see snow showers return as our lows drop down to 15 degrees. The Chicago City Council is still at odds regarding a budget. The city's budget committee failed to pass a spending bill yesterday afternoon. The city's finance committee had passed their so-called alternative budget plan on Tuesday. 5 meetings have been set for the council to pass that budget between now and Christmas. The city's budget deadline is December 30th. U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commander Gregory Bovino has expressed his appreciation to Chicago police officers. In a social media post on Wednesday, Bovino thanked the Chicago Police Department, saying that they provided assistance in preventing, quote, violent mobs from assaulting CBP law enforcement officers as they conducted Title VIII immigration duties. This report is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Big savings on full-mouth dental implants are here at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Medical insurance can make what used to cost a fortune surprisingly affordable. Don't wait. Take the 60-second quiz to see if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Hugh Hewitt doesn't see the evidence.
Do you believe President Trump has issued any illegal orders?
To my knowledge, I am not aware of things that are illegal, but certainly there are some legal gymnastics that are going on with these Caribbean strikes.
Why can't someone answer the question? Not one of them has been able to come up with one illegal order because they made it all up.
The Hugh Hewitt Show, afternoons at 2, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
You know what really keeps me up at night? It's the criminals feel more and more bold. They have no fear of any consequences because there are none. So I did what anyone with a family should do. I called Goldilocks. They're not just some cookie-cutter security company. Goldilocks has been protecting Chicagoland homes and businesses for 4 decades, 40 years. And they actually listen. Their technician comes out to the house. He takes a look at what you need to make your house a smart home with a security system you can monitor from anywhere. It's built specifically for me and my family. Motion sensors, smart locks, cameras, monitoring, all customized. I don't trust anybody in Illinois to protect my family. I do it, and I did it by calling Goldilocks. I trust Goldilocks to keep my house, my property, and my family safe. Tell them Sean Thompson sent you, and Goldilocks will include 3 months free monitoring with any new installation. Call Goldilocks at 708-899-5600. That's 708-899-5600. Or visit them online at GoldilocksInc.com.
Listen, I'm going to be straight with you. Pain just doesn't hurt your body. It steals your life. I know because I've seen it with people I care about, and maybe you're dealing with it right now. Here's what I love about Dr. Ashley Caravelli and QC Kinetics. They get it. They're not pushing surgery. They're not handing out pills. They're using your body's own healing power to fix what's broken. This is cutting edge. I've talked to people who've been through this. These are real results. No going under the knife, no medication fog, no sitting on the couch recovering, just your body doing what it was designed to do, heal itself. QC Kinetics gives you long-term relief. Make 2026 the year you get back to living without pain. They've got weekend appointments, free consultations, and you can use your HSA or FSA spending accounts. Your first consultation is free, so don't hesitate to call to find out more. Call 312-827-6261. Again, 312-827-6261. One more time, that number is 312-827-6261.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Check off the wish list with instant savings and free battery offers on select Steel tools. Shop online or in store.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Jammed on the Tri-State northbound with a collision taking out the left lane at 127th Street. The inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore is 22 minutes, outbound is 17. We are stop and go on the Bishop Ford inbound between 111th Street and the Dan Ryan. The Dan Ryan from 95th to the Bird Interchange, 19 minutes, outbound is 13. The express lane's a little bit sluggish into the Stevenson inbound. Northbound Lakeshore Drive hitting the brakes by Hollywood Avenue. Inbound Kennedy from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange, 20 minutes. Outbound is 23. The Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the O Post Office, 19 minutes. Outbound is 15. This report is the service of Macy's Backstage. Macy's Backstage is a whole department inside your Macy's store where you can find last-minute gifts for everyone on your list, all for under $20. With new arrivals every day, you never know what amazing deals you'll find. Don't wait. Find a location at Macy'sBackstage.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be windy with periods of rain tapering off in the early afternoon. The high temperature will reach 50. Tonight, expect low clouds, breezy conditions, and much colder weather with a few snow showers. Be cautious of a rapid freeze-up as the temperature drops to a low of 12. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering smart security systems to homes and businesses. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft. Just updating something I said at the top of the hour regarding the Brown University shooting and the search for the shooter. So maybe I misheard, but I asked our producers, because I just was sort of listening while I was doing something else, when I said that the Fox News reported that local police didn't know the sex of the person of interest. And a couple of texters suggested that Fox News was talking about a second person that police are interested in interviewing, a person that crossed paths with the person of interest per the surveillance video that police have and that they release. So maybe that's the case. The local police, Providence police, are saying they've gathered both physical and DNA evidence. They describe the person of interest as 5'8" man with a stocky build. You know, he's a squatty guy. Not dissimilar, like I said, to the guy whose student profile was scrubbed from the Brown University website, his X account taken down, and so forth. But maybe not the same guy either. I said it doesn't look like the same guy because this guy seems darker complected based on the close-up pictures that police have released. But he came into contact. Investigators say the individual was in close proximity to the person of interest prior to Saturday's shooting, and they believe that that person could help the investigation move forward. They don't know the sex so they have enough to see an interaction, and they have enough to have a close-up on him, but they don't have enough to identify even the sex of the person that he came in close proximity to that they would also like to speak with. I don't know. I mean, the whole thing has been shambolic as far as I'm concerned, beginning with that press conference the other day. So, sorry, I'm just there. That operation in Providence is just not inspiring much confidence. All right. Speaking of local matters, this was a snippet from the graduation ceremony at the Maine Government High School in Hamtramck, Michigan. Hamtramck, Michigan, which is one of those communities that is now majority Muslim in terms of its population. I think you'll understand why I'm sharing this momentarily, but Here we go.
محمد الجواني هيثم الغزالي خولة الجهين آمال الجهين محمد الجهين دعاء الحالمي ياسمين الهنومة أماني الحسين.
That goes on for another 2 minutes, and it is nothing but Arabic names. I'm not casting any aspersions on people of Arabic extraction or Muslims or Arabic Christians. What we're talking about is what we've been talking about for a long time, which is unchecked, unvetted mass migration. Not individuals. The individual assessments can bring great people of all shapes and sizes and religious persuasions to this country, like we saw with the Bondi Beach terrorist attack. You had two men, father and son, terrorist tandem that were of Pakistani extraction that murdered all those and injured all those people. And yet you had a Muslim of Syrian extraction, an Australian national now, who acted heroically and disarmed, at least temporarily, the father of that father and son tandem. So not going to play that game, and I'm not afraid to have the conversation to draw these distinctions and to discuss a topic with the nuance that's required. But when you do it en masse, and you do it from the perspective of open borders, which is what has been done in this country, to at varying paces, depending on the administration, then you create the sorts of problems that we talked about during the Biden administration and small-town America, like Springfield, Ohio. Please don't eat the cats. Charleroi, Pennsylvania. And what we've been discussing more recently with the fraud and the welfare dependency of the Somali population in Minnesota. And I play that clip from the high school graduation in Hamtramck because that's going to be the high school graduation in Sandburg High School in Orland Park before too long. And given the behavior of some from the Muslim community in suburban Chicago, that's a topic for discussion, it seems to me. For more on this and other related matters, pleased to be joined again by the former mayor of Orland Park, Keith Pekow. We want to update the litigation he's been involved with since he was defeated for re-election this past spring, and defeated by a guy who says he's a Republican, but is one of those Illinois Republicans, which means leftist, or Quisling, who was carried to victory by the Palestinian or Palestinian-American community in Orland Park. There's no other way to describe it. That was the difference maker. Keith, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hi, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Just before we get to the specifics of the behavior of this Jim Dodge government in Orland Park, as sort of a cautionary tale for people thinking about their local government, and I don't mean state, I mean local, literal local. We try to talk about all the time, municipal, school boards, townships, counties, that's sort of local. Just a comment, given the backdrop of what we saw at Bondi Beach, what we may be talking about with respect to the murders at Brown University, what we're talking about in places like what was formerly Minneapolis, Hamtramck, Dearborn. If you wanted to comment on the dynamic in the southwest suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah, I think it's an issue in the southwest suburbs of Chicago. I think the mass migration is an issue. When you go from 4% of the population at the beginning of Joe Biden's term to 15% over 4 years, it has an impact on your community when things change that fast. And that's obviously a problem. And when you have a current mayor that, let's as you pointed out, was elected due to that. And to give you a really good example, you remember that Trump ordered the flags at half-staff when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And the village got blowback for being at half-staff from that community and put out a social media post saying that it was at half-staff because of 9/11. So they just lied to the public, gaslit the public. They don't, again, and they're doing other things like eminent domain, blocking certain businesses from opening, and it appears to be to appease that community. And not even that community, I would say the loud people and the people who were the money behind him is who they're really trying to appease. I don't think it's the individuals at large. I think it's leaders of that group.
Just a point of order on this. The Center for Immigration Studies released an analysis of the Biden administration's refugee resettlement program, raising serious concerns about whether more than 233,000 plus refugees admitted were adequately screened. The argument is that the Biden administration prioritized speed over security, redesigning overseas processing to allow concurrent steps taken rather than sequential ones, cutting processing times from years to weeks or months. NGO referrals were expanded, creating potential for fraud. A GAO report in 2017 found 64% of trip reports identified major concerns with case preparations, including staff fraud. And it goes on from there, just detailing the potential vulnerabilities or slipshod slipshoddy processes in place for proper vetting. And so that macro approach has micro consequences in communities around the country, and that's what we're talking about.
Absolutely. It's swept someone into office that's been abusing his office since he's been there.
And let's get to that now, the abuses of the office. So I think I lost count of the number of complaints that were filed against you and funded by the taxpayers. I mean, right, this is the one man standing against the government type of story, despite the fact that you were a two-term mayor. And so the complaints, there was action taken this week where 6 of 7 complaints that were filed against you by the Village of Orland Park were dismissed. So just sort of update us on the case, the nature of these complaints filed against you, and what the dispensation was by the court.
So there were 2 counts in their lawsuit against me, and there were 7 claims inside those counts, or 7 things of relief they wanted. 6 of those were stricken by the court. Only 1 remained. The village's response, when I pointed that out, the village's response is that I was lying and that it didn't damage their case. Yet, yesterday, they amended their complaint, which is, means they threw out their first complaint, and they're re-complaining the whole thing. Now there's, I think, all the original 7 plus like 7 more claims now that they're going after. And, basically it's a do-over. And it will likely be granted, and they almost always are, at the Cook County Court on Monday. And the bottom line is they want me silent. They don't want me to speak. They initially wanted all of my social media taken down. Then they've since retrenched from that, and their new complaint says, this isn't about First Amendment, yet the first thing they want is for the court to basically not allow me to speak about issues in Orland Park. And this should chill everybody, because it's not just me they're telling to shut up. They're saying to every existing board member, to everyone who wants to run, to every staff member, that if you speak out, we will crush you. We will use government resources to crush you. And they have spent several $100,000 on this, as have I. And I don't think anybody wants that in their life. But I am not going to back down. I've fought for your rights when I was in the military, and taking away my First Amendment right is unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, so you've spent a couple $100,000 of your own money while they're spending, they have, a blank check because it's other people's money. And it's all surrounding you're not allowed to criticize the government. I mean, it's remarkable that these complaints filed against you have even persisted as long as they have.
Yeah, they couch it in, I have documents, I have information, and yeah, of course I have copies of documents. I did a lot of work when I was mayor, right? But they've yet to identify what those documents are, right? And they've implied that I've released documents. I have not released anything. This all started because I told people that they should FOIA specific documents, and I gave them a list of documents they should FOIA. And that's what started this. So the real question is, what is the village hiding? What don't they want?
Why can't you make recommendations of what people should FOIA? I mean, what do they have? Are these classified documents with national security implications? What are we talking about?
If you went to the court case, you surely would think so. But their own attorney said to me on the stand and asked me, he said, well, FOIA is there to protect people's reputations. No, FOIA is not there.
Protect people's reputations? What does that mean?
If they've done something wrong and it's in the FOIA, then that's why we have a Public Records Act, so people can actually check on it.
FOIA is a lawyer from Ansel Glink said the FOIA is there to protect people's reputations?
He absolutely said that when I was on the stand. That was his implied question. I said, absolutely not. In fact, it's the opposite.
God, boy, if anybody listening has Ansel Glink as their a lawyer from Ansel Glink, or Ansel Glink as our corp counsel as a town attorney, that's the position you're taking? That's what the Freedom of Information Act, to be able to get documents from your government that are FOIA-able, so that you get transparency from your government. If they're not forthcoming and proactive, you can at least get it from a reactive government, so that there's the ability to examine what's happening with your government that you finance. And it's about protecting people's reputations. What the good grief. I mean, but this is why the Orland Park thing is so interesting, because number one, it's rare that you have somebody that's willing to go to the mat, particularly after they're out of office like you're doing, and spending your own money and serious sums of it in the process. And two, to have, what normally you get a government that behaves this way, well, they just use their power. They behave the way that a officious commissar would. They use their power to just crush dissent, and nobody says anything about it because they don't want to be the next one up. So you never hear about it. So you never appreciate that this is happening all over the place. And that's why this story is so important to me. And the example that you're providing is laudatory, frankly.
Well, thanks. And I'm just pointing out, all I've been pointing out is all the abuses. I mean, Jim Dodge, the patronage hires. He hires his business partner and campaign manager into a non-budget position for $100,000 a year. A new position, mayor's outreach coordinator. He's rewarded campaign workers with communications contracts, photography contracts. The village manager got his job back for helping undermine the government while I was there, and then help him get elected. He has added 22 full-time positions and 28 part-time positions in 7 months. That's almost 10% additional employees. The nepotism, he forced out our dog handler. He forced him to resign. Gave his nephew, who's on the police force, the new dog.
Well, so, I mean, all that stuff is like the usual patronage and self-dealing that you have in government everywhere. But the point is to say, like, if you talk about those things, or you object to them, or you want a FOIA to get information about people that are on the public payroll, that is somehow, actionable, that you should be silenced. We only accept compliments in the Village of Orland Park. It's like the City of Chicago Department of Transportation. We don't accept complaints here. We just accept compliments.
Absolutely. They're sending the message that we will destroy you. They're raising property tax $500,000 this year, the property tax levy. Under my administration, over 8 years, the property tax levy went down. They're using basically that property tax levy is funding this lawsuit.
And by the way, meanwhile, just speaking of local government, we talked about it last week. At the high school there, Carl Sandburg, Turning Point USA, trying to stand up a Turning Point USA chapter, and they're receiving all sorts of flack, and more than flack, hate, and just unseemly ad hominem from people who oppose Turning Point USA and so on and so forth, even though they have all these sort of other identitarian clubs at the school. And, this is all part and parcel of the same dynamic here. You have people that have a totalitarian bent across the political spectrum and across the sort of religious and racial spectrum, too, there. You got a lot of people that want to shut up dissent in Orland Park, both honkies and non-honkies.
Well, since that happened at Carl Sandburg, the Village of Orland Park has put out at least 2, maybe 3 press releases and comments about me and attacking me, but they can't say one thing, not one thing, about the threats that have happened at Carl Sandburg. And as a mayor, it's a really simple comment on the board for. We are aware of the threats. They are unacceptable. We are investigating them, and we will prosecute them to the full extent of the law. That's all you have to say. It has not been said. It has not been said because Jim Dodge is a wholly owned subsidiary of that group.
That's the choice Orland Park made. Keith Peacock, former mayor of Orland Park, thanks again for joining us. Keep the fight. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro text line. It is, it's the witching hour. It's now 7 o'clock on AM 560 WIND, Chicago.
Touting year 1 of term 2. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it.
President Trump blamed Biden-era policies failing America in a primetime White House address.
But now you have a president who fights for the law-abiding, hardworking people of our country.
The president also says he's bringing prices that had surged down.
Wages are going up much faster than inflation. How big is that?
Later this hour, we'll get an inflation update expected to show a higher annual rate of increase in consumer prices last month.
Democrats say prices are higher, unemployment is rising, and Trump tariffs are hitting American consumers. The latest Fox News polling shows 9 in 10 Americans are concerned about inflation and high prices, about the same as the beginning of this year and higher than the summer of 2021 when inflation was beginning to take hold under the Biden administration.
Fox's Rich Edson at the White House, and touting revenue as tariffs have brought in, the president announced bonus checks for U.S. service members ahead of America's 250th birthday, $1,776 each.
Nobody deserves it more than our military, and I say congratulations to everybody.
The president did not mention last night the U.S. military operation off the Venezuela coast that some Democrats question as illegal, targeting boats said to be trafficking drugs. And there was another strike yesterday, killing 4 more alleged narco-terrorists.
In a social media post, U.S. Southern Command, which also posted unclassified video of the boat as it was struck, said Secretary of War Pete Hegseth ordered the lethal kinetic strike on a vessel operated by a designated terrorist organization in international waters.
That's Fox's Lillian Wu. One survivor of the Brown University shooting remains in critical condition as police keep searching for the gunman who murdered 2 students and wounded 9 Saturday.
There's actual physical evidence, there's DNA evidence, there's a lot of evidence that we're collecting.
Providence Police Chief Oscar Perez, they keep also searching for a person of interest. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It is 42 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. 2 people have died following a plane crash at DePage Airport yesterday afternoon. According to officials with the FAA, that accident happened just before 2 o'clock as the twin-engine Piper PA-30 crashed just after takeoff. The cause of the crash is under investigation. Chicago City Council still at odds regarding a budget. The city's budget committee failed to pass a spending bill yesterday. City's finance committee had passed the so-called alternative budget plan on Tuesday. 5 more meetings have been set for the council to pass a budget between now and Christmas Eve. City's budget deadline is December 30th. A pedestrian has been killed and multiple people injured, including 2 police officers, when they were struck by a 73-year-old man who was driving an SUV yesterday. According to reports, the officers were struck when that SUV blew through a stoplight. The SUV went on to strike multiple other vehicles until it ended up at a drugstore parking lot where a 78-year-old man was struck. The victim was transported to the hospital. He later died. Officials say the SUV's driver may have had a medical issue causing those accidents. And Chicago Bears CEO and President Kevin Warren says the organization's goal to build a world-class stadium is still the goal, but the venue may end up being in Northwest Indiana. In an open letter to Bears fans, Warren noted that Arlington Heights was the only location in Cook County that met the requirements needed for the new stadium. However, he says the organization has encountered a lack of cooperation with lawmakers, and that's caused the organization to expand their search for a new locale, which includes Northwest Indiana. This report is a service of Air Right Heating and Cooling, offering AM 560 listeners $56 off any service, including inspections, or take advantage of limited-time federal rebates on a new furnace. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
This December could be one that you'll always remember if you enter the Roland's Jewelers 12 Days of Christmas contest. You could win a $200 gift card from Roland's Jewelers in Libertyville. We're drawing 12 winners throughout the month of December, and you could be one of them. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/gift. That's 560theanswer.com/gift.
Dan Proft here to tell you about our 2025 Food for the Poor campaign. If you've listened to this station and to our show for any length of time, then you already know about Food for the Poor. They are a nonprofit, faith-based organization that provides food, water, medicine, clothing, and life-saving supplies directly to local partners in Latin America and the Caribbean. We all know about how bad the situation is in Latin America and the Caribbean right now. Economic decline, political instability and corruption, and high food prices. The only thing standing between these families and starvation is Food for the Poor and their partners who are providing life-saving food relief on the ground. But in order to get food and water to those who need it most, Food for the Poor needs your help. Your gift of just $150 can provide food and water for 2 children for an entire year. For a gift of $300, you can provide food and water for 4 children for an entire year. To make a gift of any amount, just call 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673. Or visit 560theanswer.com/food for the poor.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pain, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your routine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Simply call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, don't let it keep you from living the life you want. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
The team at Fox Valley Coins would like to wish your family a very Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy, and prosperous New Year. Thank you for making Fox Valley Coins one of the largest coin dealers in the entire Midwest. With our current prices and market conditions for coins and precious metals, 2026 will be a very busy year. Experts in all major forms of gold, silver, platinum, and palladium, Fox Valley Coins also specialize in rare and collector coins and currency. For your large estate collections, Fox Valley Coins will even make house calls to your home or bank to appraise or buy your collections. Fox Valley Coins on Route 59 in Naperville, Illinois. Family-owned integrity since 1981. Fox Valley Coins will be closed Christmas Eve through Sunday, January 4th, celebrating Jesus' birth with family. And for year-end inventory, we're back open on Monday the 5th. Visit foxvalleycoins.com. That's foxvalleycoins.com. This Christmas, remember, Jesus is God's gift to man.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Stop and go on the northbound tri-state between the 57 and 127th Street because of a collision that has just been moved to the shoulder. We're also stop and go on the Reagan Memorial, eastbound between Roosevelt Road and the tri-state. The Bishop Ford slows down northbound between 111th Street and the Dan Ryan. The inbound Dan Ryan from 95th to the Byrne interchange is 25 minutes, outbound is 13. The Stevenson, that slows down from the tri-state to Lakeshore, 22 minutes, outbound is 17. We're slow on the Eisenhower inbound from Walt to the old post office, 29 minutes, outbound is 18. The Kennedy is 28 minutes inbound from O'Hare to the Byrne interchange, outbound is 27. This traffic update is a service of Quick Delivery Service. When you need same-day delivery, when you need the fastest service, when you need a last-minute delivery, go to quickdelivery.com and get a quote right now. That's quickdelivery.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be windy with periods of rain tapering off in the early afternoon. The high temperature will reach 50. Tonight, expect low clouds, breezy conditions, and much colder weather with a few snow showers. Be cautious of a rapid freeze-up as the temperature drops to a low of 12. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer
Merry Christmas.
on AM 560.
Ho, ho, ho.
The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft. It is that time of the year, the holidays, the end of the year. And so I need help from our listeners. As we have done in previous years, we have to designate the political song of the year. You know, there's nothing I like more than a politically oriented ditty. And I had our producer Justin pull all of the political songs that we have unearthed and enjoyed to varying degrees over the last year. There's quite a bit, more than I remembered. So we want to get down to a few finalists, and I've only got a couple of shows left. Tomorrow's my last show for the year. Maybe forever, who knows? You know, tomorrow's promised to no man. So we've got to review these today. We've got to come down, winnow the choices down, American Idol style, to maybe 4 or 5 that we can then revisit tomorrow and crown the political song of the year. It's going to be tough. I mean, like last year was, I think, was it, or maybe it was 2 years ago. Now I can't even remember. Oh, yeah, no, last year was obvious because it was Kiffness, Please Don't Eat the Cats. And the year before, it was a runaway with Richmond, North of Richmond, Oliver Anthony. This year, I think it's closer. I think it's tough. So shall we go through some of them? Yes, we shall. I can't play them in their entirety, of course. We'll give a few snippets and call or text in 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. If you think something you hear should definitely be one of the 5 finalists, and then we'll, compile the votes. We'll have Ernst & Young compile all the votes. Come down with 5 finalists that we'll revisit tomorrow. We'll crown a champion, and will we have done our job? Okay. Molly Galler's The BIPOC Song.
Black and indigenous people of color. Black and indigenous people of color. Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer. Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer. Asian American Pacific Islander. Asian American Pacific Islander. Latino, Hispanic, Romani, and Creole. Latino, Hispanic, Romani, and Creole. We all have a place in this world. We all have a place in this world.
All right. I love the way she says Creole. Molly Galler, The BIPOC Song. I'll try to do, one from each side, but I got to say, the left has been more prolific this year, at least according to what we've been able to compile. Tom MacDonald, popular rapper, honky rapper, sort of the political Eminem, or the conservative Eminem, with face tattoos. Not a good choice. But nonetheless, Tom McDonald's The Devil Lives in California.
The devil lives in California. He a politician. He passing bills that bring chaos and division. Yeah, the devil lives in California. Should be in prison. He got horns, but he tries to keep them hidden. Cause the devil is a Democrat. And we don't play that. They say that. They love America. We know it ain't that. The devil is a Democrat. And we ain't with it. We ain't switching. Y'all are tripping. I guess God just spelled us different. They get celebrities to do they talking.
All right, so there's Tom McDonald, Devil Lives in California. A little bit more, of a popular current genre than Molly Galler's sort of Karen Carpenter-esque BIPOC song. All right, there's two. He's a prolific songwriter, definitely from the sort of the Peter, Paul, and Mary era. But folk music still has its place, particularly when it comes to protest songs. Remember our friend Francis Collins. Yeah, Francis Collins from NIH back in those heady COVID days. He was out, it seems like a long time ago, during the protests at the height of Doge. Francis Collins, like so many, very concerned about federal government's funding of science. And so he wrote a song about it. I hope you like it. Here it goes.
We're joined together by this noble dream. You got that? So it's just all the good people, but the second line, part of this family, and the last line, we're joined together by this noble dream. Do that with me. This is a song for all the good people. Come on. All the good people who are part of this family.
More of a sing-along, but there's a song there. Here we go.
For all the good people,
yeah,
we're joined together by this noble dream. Well, this is a song for all of those dreamers. We're looking for answers to come our way. Scientists, doctors, students, all seekers. We share in the hopes for a much brighter day.
All right. Yeah, come on. It's got a little bit of Neil Young there, a little gravelly. I'd like to hear a duo, or a duet, I should say. Sort of Elton John, Kiki D style with Francis Collins and Molly Galler. Wouldn't that be fun? Okay. Now, on the other side, Alessandra Bashir, Thank You, Elon. You remember this one? Pretty good, and she can sing.
He gave us cars that drive so fast, made rockets built to blast. Oh, thank you, Elon Musk. He took over Twitter's reign. He saved free speech for all, eliminating woke pain. SpaceX flies, Tesla self-drive, Starlink beams with laser dreams. He's got a master plan for our lives. Let's occupy Mars. Let's occupy Mars. And making kids to keep mankind alive.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm not going to try to put my finger on the scale here, but that's pretty good offering. Are you keeping track? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line and text line. Now, of course, who could forget this moment? Beautiful, really. And as she said at the time, she really needed it. And I think, as per usual, MSNBC's Nicole Wallace was speaking for all of us. Really needed it. Jeff Daniels of Dumb and Dumber infamy, serenading Nicole Wallace with this offering.
This is a song I wrote called Crazy World. which is how I cope.
Okay, let's hear it.
I've seen a young girl smiling at something he just said. I watched him fall into her pretty green eyes. His cheeks turned Valentine red. I've seen an old man walking with his wife by his side. I watched him reach down, take her hand. Damned if I didn't cry. This crazy world's gone crazy. Who am I to judge? It's nice to know in a world full of hate, there's someone out there still making love.
How about a group hug? Jeff Daniels' Crazy World. A nominee. It's tough to counter Jeff Daniels with with something that it's not, one of these boomer hippies protest songs. Let me see if I've got anything here. Well, there is this offering, casting Russ Vought, the OMB guy, who was supposed to take over the Doge reins from Elon, and that sort of fizzled, apparently. But anyway, when he was stepping into that Doge role, the Blue Oyster Cult classic. Joe and Glen Ellen, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, I'm out cruising to the drive-in theater right now. I would love if you could play Which Side Are You On?
Instant request, and we've got it for you, Joe. That's definitely on the list. Perhaps the earworm of the year, if not the political song of the year. It goes a little something like this.
Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me, which side are you on? Which side are you on? We'll fight against Doge. We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon's kept within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Tell me.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Trump's coming for our unions. He wants us all to fail. He wants us to bow to him, but we want him in jail. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on?
I could listen to all 12 verses like you could, I'm sure. Got some text on which side are you on. That seems to be a popular choice. How about a local contributor? She is gone from public office for now, but not forgotten. Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, remember her? Remember, she was prolific in the space of putting public policy to verse. You haven't forgotten her classic, I Feed the People, have you?
I'm starving the board, I'm feeding the people. They put me in office and treat me like it's illegal to feed the people, to feed the people. I gave back to communities and I cleaned the streets up. I'm starving the board, I'm feeding the people. They put me in office and treat me like it's illegal to feed the people, to feed the people, to feed my people, to feed my people. From Vegas to Chicago, I rode around in Tahoe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, former Mayor Henyard. Now, we did have some big names that also have entries this year's Political Song of the Year. Hard to come up with a bigger name than Neil Young. I mean, it's true. The real Neil Young. We brought you this when it first released. Big Crime. Neil Young is still kicking. Daryl Hannah's keeping him young.
No more great again. Big crime in D.C. and the White House. There's big crime in D.C.
He sounds like the Which Side Are You On? He was sort of screeching the same way.
More money to the fascists, the billionaire fascists. Time to black out the system. It's no more great again. No, there's no more great again. It's time to black out the system. It's big crime.
I'm in D.C. in the White House. Big crime in D.C. Okay, that's enough. I don't really understand the attraction of Neil Young. I never did. But, hey, you know, everybody has their tastes. Neil Young, Francis Collins, and Molly Gawler, the BIPOC song girl. That could be a Peter, Paul, and Mary tribute band. Couple more for consideration. Well, you know, some of these are more chants than songs, but I'm providing some latitude here. People expressing themselves in different ways. The man from Maryland, Gilmar Abrego Garcia. They wrote a song about him. Here's a snippet of it.
Gilmar is our neighbor. You can't have him Trump. No! Gilmar is our neighbor. You can't have him Trump.
No! Okay. Now, again, now somebody that has real chops as a artist can really sing. Quintessa Hathaway. She had this offering.
You fight on, you fight on, you fight on, you fight on. When your government is doing you wrong, you fight on, oh, you fight on.
I mean, she can sing. You can't argue with that. I know I'm throwing a lot at you. I hope you're keeping track. Along those lines, that sort of Eye of the Tiger, indomitable spirit, inspirational song. This is, again, a boomer offering, but, you know, so was the Which Side Are You On? That was sponsored by the American Federation of Government Employees. Who knew they had such a creative side?
The water, we will not give up. Standing for democracy, we will not give up. Justice and equality,
we will not give up.
Just like a tree
that's planted by the water. Come on, sing
we
it.
will not give up. Honor and integrity, we will not give up. Transparency and decency,
We will not give up, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We will not give up.
A balanced court is what we need.
Yeah, you get the joke. But I mean, this is the height of anti-Doge artistry. And then, of course, we had the other period where No Kings was the order of the day. You remember it was a seamless transition from anti-Doge to No Kings. And No Kings was a lot more sophisticated when it came to the hymnals. I don't know if you remember. But they actually put together a songbook because we had these, organic, in scare quotes, marches and rallies throughout the country. Certainly we saw them in Chicago. Good time. But we had professionals get involved to compose actual songs to elevate the experience and offer scores with those songs so that, people could lead the choruses in their communities, which is wonderful. So I'm just going to put this as a category. It's so hard to distinguish the category of No King songs, and I'll give you a couple of examples. Okay? Rich Man's House.
I went down to Washington, D.C. I took back what they stole from me. I took back my dignity. I took back my humanity. Woo! I went down to Congress. I took back what they stole from me. I took back my dignity. I took back, yeah.
Very soulful, very soulful. That's one in the No Kings. We're going to treat No Kings as a group again here. Just give you more. I mean, these are professionals. But sometimes it's the amateur offering that moves people. You don't need the production value. You don't need the great artistic talent. You just have to have that connection. Heal the hate.
We gonna heal the hate in this nation. We gonna heal the hate. We choose democracy in this nation. We choose democracy. We gonna heal. We gonna heal the hate.
Here comes the production value. There we go.
Heal the hate. We choose democracy in this nation. We choose democracy. We gonna heal. We gonna heal the hate in this nation. We gonna heal the hate.
All right, you get the flavor. Getting the vibe. We're ready. Are you ready? We're ready.
We are ready. Oh, yes. We are ready. Oh, yes. We are ready. Here we come. Here we come. We are fighting. We are fighting. Oh.
Fighting. Nice pipes.
We are ready. Here we come. We're ready. We are ready. Play that. Play that. We are ready. Come on, put those hands together.
Mm-hmm. We do what we want. This again is part of the No Kings oeuvre. It's toe tapping. Yeah, end of fossil fuels. I mean, it just doesn't have, it just doesn't evoke the emotion. So sometimes, like I said, I mean, the production value can be great. People can really know how to sing. But if you don't have the message, now compare an end of fossil fuels to something like this.
Trust black women, they lead the way. Trust black women, they lead the way. White women, stop abandoning your sisters. Trust black women, they lead the way. Oh, we're mad as hell. Oh, can't you tell? Oh, we're mad as hell. Can't you tell? We dissent, you fascists. Oh, we're mad as hell. Can't you tell?
Now, those are amateurs. Those were the honky housewives of Hinsdale, the Roffles of Hinsdale. But, I mean, what a great message. I do need to get a Remy in here, too, Reason magazines. But I haven't seen a recent parody song from him. I hope he's still doing them. He's so good. Remy had some good parody songs this year. I'm going to nominate Girl on Fire, particularly, since that was a favorite of Michelle Obama's.
Mr. Governor, what do you have to say about the rise in violent crime in the city subway? This place is safe for subway riders. But it's not? Safer than a holiday. What does that even mean? You could ride it any day. But there have been 400 incidents. Don't worry about stuff that happened prior. It seems relevant. We just fixed it all for sure. How? By keeping what we had before. Oh, wait, did you hear that sound? One of the best governor around. No, it sounded more like oh. There it is again, it's so clear. Well, there is nothing to see here. This girl is on fire. It could be from a horrible accident. I set her on fire. Ooh. This girl is on fire.
Maybe too soon after the Bethany McGee attack, but that was after a woman was set on fire in the New York City subway. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing to laugh about, but by the same token, you have to properly ridicule these politicians. Gosh, God, I do have a few more. Maybe one more. All right, but think about this. We've got some real contenders here. You got your Francis Collins. You got your American Federation for Government Employees, Boomer chorus. You got your Tom McDonald on the other side. You've got your Alessandra Basher, the Thank You Elon song. You have your Jeff Daniels serenading Nicole Wallace and Really Us All. You got your No Kings professionals, and you got your No Kings Jamboree crowd.
There ain't no king, ain't no king in the USA. We're rising up. He ain't no fool. No matter what he says. Say the truth, he said he's bad. Hell no, we won't say not today. Not today. 'Cause there ain't no king in the USA.
I mean, those leftists are fun, aren't they? At least fun to mock. All right, those are your offerings for Political Song of the Year. Please weigh in by text or call a little bit later. And we'll go through it again. Like, say, 5 finalists tomorrow and crown a champion. Now let's check the headlines.
Good morning. It is 45 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. A teenager is dead this morning after shots were fired into a home in the Chicago-Lawn area. According to reports, that shooting took place just before 1:30 this morning. The suspect reportedly ran from the scene. The teen was transported to an area hospital where he was pronounced dead. A man has been arrested in the stabbing death of a woman. According to reports, officers arrived at the scene to find 49-year-old Alfredo Brazzino of Niles standing over a woman who was lying on the ground bleeding. The victim was identified as 37-year-old Jenny Rodriguez. Officials say the pair had recently ended a relationship. And Chicago Bears CEO and President Kevin Warren says the organization's goal to build a world-class stadium in Arlington is still the hope, but Warren says the organization has encountered a lack of cooperation with lawmakers, which has caused the organization to expand their search for a new location, including looking at areas in northwest Indiana. A spokesperson for Governor J.B. Pritzker called Warren's statement a, quote, startling slap in the face to all the beloved and loyal fans. This news update is a service of Quick Delivery Service. When you need same-day delivery, when you need the fastest service, when you need a last-minute delivery, Delivery. Go to quickdelivery.com and get a quote right now. That's quickdelivery.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Scott Jennings sees a disconnect.
So when asked what illegal orders the president has given, Slotkin couldn't identify a single one, and then she justified her calls for mutiny in the military by citing Nuremberg and a Hollywood movie. Folks, these Democrats may not be living in reality. Their lack of connection to planet Earth is getting dangerous.
The Scott Jennings Show. Weekdays at 1, right before Hugh Hewitt at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Is your tech a train wreck? Slow computers in the office. Printers won't connect. Clueless support team only asks, have you tried clearing your cache? Your business deserves better than generic fixes. At Unique Computing Solutions, we cut through the chaos fast. Reliable support, real solutions from a team that actually understands your business. Get a free assessment today at uniquecomputing.solutions.com. That's uniquecomputing.solutions.com. Your IT challenges solved.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Are you confident your IT systems are rock solid? There could be cracks you don't see. Don't leave your technology to chance. Take the Access One $10,000 challenge to find out. For more than 30 years, Access One has helped businesses strengthen their security, protect their data, and improve resistance to cyber vulnerabilities, all with reliable U.S.-based support. And here's our promise. If our experts can't identify at least one measurable improvement to your IT systems and processes based on NIST or CIS regulations, we'll reward your compliance excellence with $10,000. This free, confidential risk assessment is available to businesses with 25 to 500 employees, and it's a great way to verify your IT is secure and efficient. No gimmicks, just proven results from an experienced IT partner. Ready to put us to the test? Visit accessoneinc.com/challenge or call 800-654-1555 to schedule your assessment today. Certain conditions apply. See details online.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Still stop and go on the northbound Tri-State as you approach 127th Street with a collision off on the shoulder, but the delays start right around 159th Street. We're stop and go on the Break-In Memorial as you approach the Tri-State, hitting the brakes northbound on Lakeshore Drive as you head towards Hollywood Avenue. Now, the Dan Ryan slows down from 95th to the Burn Interchange, 26 minutes. Outbound is 13. The Stevenson is 35 minutes inbound. From the Tri-State to Lakeshore, outbound is 18. The Eisenhower is 29 minutes inbound from Wolf to the old post office. Outbound is 23. 33 minutes inbound on the Kennedy from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange. Outbound is 36, starting to get slow in the express lanes inbound by Ohio Street. This report is a service of the Illinois Department of Human Services. Holidays don't always feel bright. If you're feeling stressed, anxious, or alone, 988 counselors are ready to listen and support anytime, day or night. Call or text 988 today. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be windy with periods of rain tapering off by early afternoon. The high temperature will reach 50 degrees. Tonight, expect low clouds, breezy conditions, and a significant drop in temperature with a few snow showers possible. Be cautious of a quick freeze as the low dips to 12 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. The city careening towards a government shutdown? Say it ain't so. It ain't so. Anyway, I mentioned yesterday, but we didn't really dig into it, that some of the alderhumans that are opposed to the corporate head tax passed their alternative budget out of Finance Committee. It's real exciting. Here was some reporting on that. We got, the usual suspects, the sort of the fiscal chicken hawks, if you will, people like Matt O'Shea and little Billy Conway, Daddy's little boy, little billionaire baby boy, beating their chest. They're really standing up to the mayor. They've drawn a line at the corporate head tax. We're all supposed to be real impressed.
It includes raising the plastic shopping bag tax from 10 to 15 cents and a pilot program to put advertising on bridge houses as well as light poles. It officially gets rid of the corporate head tax, which has been a major source of contention since Mayor Brandon Johnson first presented it in his budget plan, the mayor and his allies insisting corporations pay more.
What you have here is balancing the budget with fines and fees and taking the corporate head tax. I want to hear your rationale to do that.
Our proposal in terms of new revenues impacts businesses at 84% and individuals at 16%. I want everybody to take a look at this for a minute.
The alternative budget group say this plan is 98% in line with Mayor Johnson's. Still, some of his allies were frustrated at not seeing the numbers sooner.
This is our first time reviewing this. This is incredibly disrespectful.
There were also questions about the alternate plan to sell off outstanding debt to raise nearly $90 million. The city comptroller cautioning against it.
I would not rely on $89 million in this budget. This has never been done by any city.
But supporters defending this plan as worthy of consideration, calling projections conservative and balanced.
The group that's worked on this has spent hundreds of hours bringing in the majority of the city council to talk about this.
Ooh. And that's
we
what you
relied
came up
on
with?
the advice and counsel
Hundreds of hours, and that's all you came up
budgetary
with?
experts.
And we've heard all last week the
Billy
mayor was
Conway.
saying, put it on the
Little
board,
Billy
put it on the
Conway.
board. Well, we did put it on the board, and the fact of the matter is, the head tax today should be called the dead tax because it is not passing city council.
Ooh, tough guy. And then he went out and rousted a bunch of prayer warriors outside of an abortion clinic. Show what a tough guy he is. I think it was Alderhuman Michelle Lee. Look at this. 84% of our proposal impacts business, not individuals. So it's a distinction without a difference. We're going to punish business too. Don't you worry. We're just not going. We're going to punish it in a different way than Brandon Johnson, so we can pretend like there's a big divide between us, and we can, as I've been saying, we can get out of the Brandon Johnson blast zone. Go back to our constituents who don't think much of Brandon Johnson's performance as mayor, and of course they're right, but say, I stood up to Brandon Johnson, and then go to Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce and tell all those C-suite executive phonies and dandies, oh, yeah, I fought the corporate head tax. I'm real pro-business. It's a charade. My view. Let's get another alderman's view. Ray Lopez, 15th Ward alderman. Ray, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Dan, good morning to you and your listeners.
Morning. So I know, I don't know where you are on this whole, what I think is a contrived imbroglio, but I was interested in something that you posted out on X, that all of this to do about $100 million in funding, political activists operating as quote-unquote violence interrupters could be avoided if we just collected the outstanding fines that are owed by Chicago residents.
That's 100% correct. And not just Chicago residents, but people in and out of the city of Chicago have racked up nearly $1 billion in municipal debt. That's fines, fees, things of that nature, judgments that we can collect on. And sadly, under this administration, Brandon Johnson has basically gone after 10 cents on every dollar owed to the city of Chicago, because he has expanded the notion that we should go after only those individuals who are of the demographic and zip code that can pay, and forego every other outstanding debt owed to the city if you are, in his mind, worthy of not having to pay.
Wait. So they're looking at zip codes and they're saying that this zip code is majority. I mean, they're looking at what median household income in a particular zip code in the city and saying they don't have the ability to pay. So any person with an outstanding debt to the city doesn't have to pay in this, that's in the zip code, doesn't have to pay the fine or the fee or whatever.
They're not, basically, yes, but they're not aggressively going to go after collecting on that debt. And they actually provided us a heat map yesterday, which I'm going to post later today, that basically shows they know exactly who and what neighborhoods owe the city the most money. And those, incidentally, are oftentimes the areas where the Department of Finance and the comptroller have said that they are not going to pursue those debts because of the zip code or impacted demographic. Not means tested, not based on their ability to pay, but simply because they happen to have the right ethnic background and or real estate to avoid payment.
Right. I mean, you could have somebody who lives, say in Mayor Brandon Johnson's neighborhood, say in the Austin neighborhood, where I suspect the median income is on the lower side in the city, but Mayor Johnson makes more than $200,000 a year, so he would be exempt from, paying things he used to not pay, like his water bill, because he lives in that zip code.
100%, and that's how you can get away without having to pay or being considered a scofflaw, because of this mentality that originated under Lori Lightfoot and has only expanded under Mayor Johnson. But that's a tax on everybody else, as you know, Dan, because that's $1 billion that has to come from somewhere. And as we saw with the recent property taxes, that 16% hike on everyone's second installment was because other people weren't paying anymore. So only the people who pay get impacted now.
Well, that's equity. That's equity, right? I mean, that's the same thing. We should have maybe you could do or they could do a city income tax for just people who live in Streeterville and Lincoln Park and Old Town. Something like that. When we're not doing it by race, we're doing it by zip code. So it's just it's geographical. It's not demographic.
And we heard this out of Mamdani when he won, that, we're going to charge white people more than others.
Yeah.
In reality, we've been doing that here for about 6 years in the city of Chicago. We just don't say it out loud, but we know exactly what the motivations are.
Well, maybe the residents of North Lawndale and East Garfield Park and Inglewood that saw those property tax assessments go up 70, 100, 130%. Maybe they can get that sort of dispensation from Tony Preckwinkle and the Cook County power structure, too.
Well, I'm sure Firth Kagi would do it if he could, considering the boondoggle that he's made out of our property taxes. But at the end of the day, when you look at what's going to happen with the city's budget, the group has done its best to adjust the 2% of the budget that we're arguing about with regards to the mayor. And I still personally believe there's plenty of work to be done. By my rough estimates, and I've been able to work with Alderman Tabaris and her staff for a better part of a week, going line by line. And I believe that if we were to have an honest assessment and discussion on the budget, we'll recognize that there's nearly $500 million free floating in this budget. $500 million that we are overcharging. We are tucking away by the mayor's decree so that he could play with it however he needs to throughout the year and use it for his various nefarious purposes.
And his stated rationale for the corporate head tax, reinstating it, is $100 million for violence interrupters. What about if we're going to do violence interruption with a particular tax or a reprioritization of existing revenue, like you're sort of discussing? How about we hire more violence interrupters that we call police officers, since we're still down 2,000 cops?
Well, that's the amazing thing, that we move with breakneck speed to hire the violence interruption teams through third parties who always skim their 15% off the top. But God forbid we actually fill any of the 2,100 police positions that are vacant year over year. We hire them at 10 at a time every month, while the brand new academy basically sits empty for 11 months out of the year.
It's just like what you're talking about with respect to the outstanding fines and fees that are owed by Chicago residents and outside, people who visit Chicago as well, of course, parking tickets and the like. And in addition to the this free-floating cash that you're talking about, is there any thought given to reductions in spend somewhere if you have to prioritize something that is a need and there has not been sufficient revenue to fund a particular need, like, for example, police officers? But even if your need was violence interrupters, I made this point before, in what's the city budget? 15 billion?
16.6.
16.6. And a 16.6 billion, if your priority, as Brandon Johnson said, is providing violence interrupters and food and clothing to the poor, then why don't you just prioritize the first 100 million of that 16.6 billion to that cause? I don't see why everything has to be static. If some sort of down the line priorities are being funded and some up the line priorities are not, why don't you move money around accordingly?
Because that would make too much sense and require greater bandwidth than what most of City Hall is capable of accomplishing at this point.
So that never came up in the hundreds of hours of meetings that Matt O'Shea said were conducted?
Actually, I will say that I brought up cuts to the budget director myself during the marathon meeting yesterday, because the alternate revenue group proposed $46 million in cuts to personnel and efficiencies. The budget director said she was only able to identify $9 million of positions to cut, the equivalent of 131 positions that have been vacant out of 32,000 that are listed in the budget book. That's all she could find. Now, during previous hearings, I was able to bring back to her attention that she has said that in years previous, we have had the equivalent of $260 million in unspent salaries in fiscal year 2025, and that we were entering fiscal year 2026 with their budget with 2,192 positions that have been vacant for the last 6 months in 2025 and going into 2026, not expecting to be filled. Those vacancies alone would save, if you cut them, $177 million from the corporate fund. You could reduce property taxes by $177 million because you're never going to fill these positions, but you keep charging for them. But you would have thought I had grown a third head on top of the second head on my neck when I mentioned this, because no one could understand what I was talking about from the administration when I said you can actually return money while still prioritizing, as you said, all your core programs, because you basically are running a shell game on taxpayers right now with these vacancies. And that's before you get to the $9 million in non-contractual collective bargaining agreement raises and salaries that are running around 8.5%, 4 times the rate of inflation in the city of Chicago.
I'm sure, like many of our listeners, I'm sure my head is hurting just as many of our listeners' heads are, all three of them. But yeah, you better dispense with that crazy talk in those circles, Ray. You're going to get yourself in trouble. Ray Lopez.
Money for taxpayers.
Ray Lopez, 15th Ward Alderman. Ray, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.
And Ray Lopez joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hallelujah! Holy
On AM 560.
Where's the Tylenol?
The Answer.
I'm Rob Cole, owner of Cole Digital in Frankfurt, specialists in custom audio video design and installation. We sell premium TVs from Sony, Samsung, and LG for less money than the big box stores, and premium speakers from Paradigm, Monitor, and B&W. Our installers will mount the TV, hide the wires, and program a single easy-to-use remote, or whole home audio with in-ceiling speakers in each room controlled by an app on your smartphone. We are known for our spectacular home theaters with a laser projector, 120-inch screen, and incredible surround sound, and leather seats, a Starfield ceiling, and acoustic treatments. Tour our Smart Living Design Center in Frankfurt, the largest in America, 15,000 square feet, 5 themed theaters, and 30 rooms of audio-video lighting and great design ideas. We're a conservative-owned local company that gives back to our community. Visit us at coledigital.com, that's K-O-L-E digital.com, or call us at 815-469-2000, and we'll bring the showroom to you. Cole Digital, what smart living is all about.
The holidays are here again, and it's really getting cold outside. It's time to snuggle up by the fireplace with a delicious mug full of Bob's Belgian hot chocolate. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Each sip is so rich, so luxurious, and oh so chocolatey. Bob makes his hot chocolate with 100% imported Belgian chocolate, and it's so easy to make. You just stir it into hot milk and voila! You just made yourself the best hot chocolate ever. You can buy Bob's Belgian hot chocolate mix and sticks online at bobsbelgianhotchocolate.com or visit us at Chris Kindle Markets at Daily Plaza, Wrigley, and Aurora. Come on out and join in on all of the holiday fun with visitors from all over the world. We can click our glasses and wish each other good cheer with a delicious mug full of Bob's Belgian hot chocolate. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Bob'sBelgianHotChocolate.com.
At AlmostFreeTeeth.com, they're dedicated to making smiles great again. If you have medical PPO insurance, find out how you could save 90% off on average to get a beautiful dental implant-supported smile. Check if you qualify right now at AlmostFreeTeeth.com.
Gain insight into building strong marriages and raising godly children with Focus on the Family with Jim Daly each weekday at 11:30 a.m. on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life. AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. Coming up at 8:08, we'll talk to our friend Jeffrey Tucker from the Brownstone Institute about his new book, about CDC guidance, about white millennial men need not apply the last decade. It is now 8 o'clock on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
News on the economy President Trump will like. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Instead of rising like expected, there was less inflation last month.
The prices you pay for things rose at a smaller pace in November. The Consumer Price Index was up 2.7% for the year ending in November. Core CPI, excluding food and energy, rose 2.6%. Economists were predicting both numbers would top 3%.
Fox's Ginny Casola. We also got an unemployment update. First-time jobless claims fell by 13,000 last week, down to 224,000, though the number of people continuing to collect jobless benefits rose to almost 1.9 million. Now, President Trump says,
very importantly, there are more people working today than at any time in American history.
In his address to the nation last night, he also told us,
for the first time in years, wages are rising much faster than inflation.
The president says he's fixing a mess he inherited from President Biden.
We had the worst trade deals ever made, and our country was laughed at from all over the world. But they're not laughing anymore.
And touting all the revenue his tariffs have brought in, the president announced he's giving U.S. military members a bonus check, $1,776 each. The Senate's Democratic leader was critical of the Trump speech. Chuck Schumer, in a statement, says the president lives in a bubble, completely disconnected from the reality everyday Americans are seeing and feeling, adding unemployment is going up and prices are going up. President Trump did not mention the U.S. military operation off the Venezuelan coast. Democrats question as illegal. There was another strike yesterday on a boat suspected of trafficking drugs, killing another 4 alleged narco-terrorists. New York is getting a new archbishop. Pope Leo has appointed somebody who, like him, is from Illinois. Bishop Ronald Hicks, who just said at a news conference,
I asked him to tell the Holy Father that I say yes with great humility.
Bishop Hicks replaces the retiring Cardinal Timothy Dolan, considered a prominent conservative in the U.S. Catholic Church. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It is 45 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. The Chicago City Council is set to meet today to consider a budget for the city. According to reports, the plan being considered is the so-called alternative plan to Mayor Brandon Johnson's initial proposal. Right now, that plan is just a few votes shy of being able to override a veto by Johnson. A vote on the city's budget could take place as early as tomorrow. The deadline for the city's budget is December 30th. 2 people have died following a plane crash at DePage Airport yesterday afternoon. According to officials with the FAA, that accident happened just before 2 o'clock as the twin-engine Piper PA-30 crashed just after takeoff. The cause of the crash is under investigation. U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commander Gregory Bovino has expressed his appreciation to police officers in Chicago. In a social media post yesterday, Bovino thanked the Chicago Police Department, saying that they provided assistance in preventing, quote, violent mobs from assaulting the CBP law enforcement officers as they conducted Title VIII immigration duties. And Chicago Bears CEO and President Kevin Warren says the organization's goal to build a world-class stadium in Arlington is still the hope, but the venue may end up being in Northwest Indiana instead. In an open letter to Bears fans, Warren noted that Arlington Heights was the only location in Cook County that met the requirements needed for the new stadium. However, he says the organization has encountered a lack of cooperation with lawmakers, and that's caused the organization to have to expand their search for a new locale, which includes areas in Northwest Indiana. A spokesperson for Governor J.B. Pritzker's office calls Warren's statement a, quote, slap in the face to loyal Bears fans. This news update is a service of Quick Delivery Service. When you need same-day delivery, when you need the fastest service, when you need a last-minute delivery, go to quickdelivery.com and get a quote right now. That's quickdelivery.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes, but time now for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Micron Technology's dramatically strong quarter reveals how much demand there is for its memory chips used in artificial intelligence. Micron shares are up more than 10% this morning. However, the Wall Street Journal says those chips are also used in phones and personal computers, which means all sorts of gadgets could cost more next year as prices go up because of the demand. CarMax reported better than expected earnings this morning. The stock is higher. Wall Street will be reacting today to the Consumer Price Index for November. Eli Lilly says its obesity pill is being submitted to the FDA for approval. The company says it helped patients maintain their weight loss after they switched from injectable medications. Lilly shares are flat this morning. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda. Invested in you.
This December could be one that you'll always remember if you enter the Roland's Jewelers 12 Days of Christmas contest. You could win a $200 gift card from Roland's Jewelers in Libertyville. We're drawing 12 winners throughout the month of December, and you could be one of them. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/gift. That's 560theanswer.com/gift.
You know me. I believe in freedom, independence, and the values that built this country. Now, I'll be the first to say President Trump has taken the steps towards reviving our economy. But inflation, trade deficits, and global uncertainty are hitting hardworking Americans where it hurts. Here's the truth. I refuse to let these hidden forces decide my future. That's why I help protect my wealth with real assets, physical gold and silver. For generations, these metals have held value no matter who's in office or what the markets do. To me, gold and silver mean independence, not just for today, but for tomorrow. If you want the peace of mind I've found, it's time to take action. I've partnered with the #1 rated precious metals company, Goldco, and right now they're offering first-time buyers a rebate of up to 10% in bonus silver on qualified accounts. Visit LaraLikesGold.com to learn how you can help safeguard your savings with gold and silver the way I do. That's LaraLikesGold.com.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pain, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your routine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Simply call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, don't let it keep you from living the life you want. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Barely moving northbound on Lakeshore Drive, completely jammed into Hollywood Avenue. You're also stop and go on the Tri-State northbound from 47th Street to the Eisenhower, and it's 60 minutes on the inbound Eisenhower from the Jane Addams to the old post office. Outbound is 43, inbound Kennedy from O'Hare to the Byrne Interchange, 45 minutes, outbound 37. The express lanes are stop and go inbound between the Eden Expressway and Division Street. Inbound Eden from Lake Cook to Montrose is 19 minutes, outbound is 23. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore, 38 minutes, outbound is 19. Inbound Dan Ryan from 95th to the Byrne Interchange, 25 minutes, outbound is 12. Traffic is a service of Quick Delivery Service. Make Quick Delivery Service your personal ground crew anytime, anywhere, any place. When you need to move your shipment or freight, Quick Delivery will get it there. Get a quote in advance and eliminate any surprises at quickdelivery.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be windy with periods of rain tapering off in the early afternoon. The high temperature will reach 50. Tonight, expect low clouds, breezy conditions, and much colder weather with a few snow showers. Be cautious of a rapid freeze-up as the temperature drops to a low of 12. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. Going back to President Trump's prime time Christmas address last night that focused on cost of living for Americans, the progress that has been made in his first 10 months, and the additional progress that will be made in the first quarter of next year and then into the rest of Trump's term. And he spanned the topic areas from wages versus inflation to the coming income tax relief under the BBB, to drug prices and health insurance, mortgage costs, folded in the costs of illegal immigration, and offered this in summary.
America first, and we are making America great again. Very simple. We are making America great again. Tonight, after 11 months, our border is secure. Inflation is stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down. Our nation is strong. America is respected, and our country is back, stronger than ever before. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen.
For a review on that and other matters, please be joined by our friend Jeffrey Tucker, founder and president of the Brownstone Institute, senior economics consultant for the Epoch Times. He's got a new book, Spirits of America on the Semi-Quincentennial. Semi-Quincentennial. Didn't think you'd heard that word today, did you? Jeffrey Tucker, thanks for joining us again. We appreciate it, as always.
Oh, yeah, it's good to be here. That address last night, just tell you frankly, it just frustrated me. I'm not a political consultant, but this country is suffering very deeply, mentally, physically, financially. A lot of it traces to the Biden administration, some of it traces to the Obama administration. but it's far too soon to declare a new golden age. And this kind of messaging comes across as there's something wrong with it. You know, when Trump's up there saying inflation's gone, then you go to the grocery store. You know, it's a problem. It discredits a lot of what he's saying. I wish that he would change his messaging. I felt, by the way, I was worried about this from the very first weeks or days of his administration when he declared it was a new golden age. And it's just not here. And, yeah, it's correct. You can tick through a list of accomplishments, but not as many as I would like. But the other thing is it's just going to take time for the sufferings that we've all been through over the last 5-10 years to abate and be replaced by some hope and joy. It's just a little bit premature. And I get that we're operating on a limited time frame here. He's got to make everything instantly better, but that's just not realistic.
Well, right. I mean, and part of that expectation that he's going to make everything instantly better has been created by him. And this is where, look, I mean, this is how Trump speaks, is how he's always spoken. It's not going to change. But you have to address the fact that, you know, maybe speaking solely in superlatives, nothing was as bad as what I inherited, nothing as good as ever been as good as what we've accomplished, you know, starts to lose its impact when it's disconnected from reality. Listen to what Van Jones said. I mean, I'm not, you know, a particular fan of Van Jones or his great insights onto the political condition, much less the human condition. But this is what his reaction was in the CNN roundtable after that speech.
I am not scared of that guy. I'm not. This is the first time I've seen a Donald Trump I'm not afraid of. He is exaggerating how bad things were. That's okay. He's exaggerating how good things are. That is great for us. That is fantastic. His big threat to Democrats is he was more in touch with ordinary people and everybody else. Yeah, the Democratic elite sitting up here talking big fancy words and, you know, coming up with some new thing to be worried about every day. And he was right there with the everyday people. This is not how everyday people are experiencing this economy or the country. People are scared. They are worried. They see a bunch of things that are happening that seem completely out of control. They're seeing shootings happening all over the place. This reverse migration is happening because rather than going after the cartels, these ICE agents are going after nannies and stuff. So the Latin community is backing off. So this is the first time you've seen a Donald Trump. He sounded a little scared. He sounded a little nervous. I don't know. Maybe he was just going too fast. I don't want to read anything into that. But I think if you're a Democrat who's sitting here tonight biting your nails, is this guy going to kill us, crush us? I think this is a beatable guy next year, and I think he proved it tonight.
Very quickly, a lot of...
I wouldn't go that far because there were moments in the speech where he talked about, look, you lost $3,000 in purchasing power. You've gained $1,200 back. Obviously, we have a ways to go, but tax relief is coming. You know, Obamacare has been a disaster. Reduced choice, increased prices, which is why I want to change how the money flows away from insurance companies to you directly to give you more choice and reduce and better care at lower prices. So there were those moments, but you know, the overall takeaway, I'm not sure what the overall takeaway is in the, you know, the larger body politic, but I can see where the overall takeaway would be that he is whistling past the graveyard a little bit.
Yeah, it's a problem. I agree with that comment. This is a gift to the Democrats for him to go around saying how great. I'm sorry to get stuck on this one point, but there is a hardcore empirical element that he said inflation has been stopped, okay? That is just flat out false. Just the BLS just this morning, the day after Trump's address, reports that the latest numbers are showing 2.7%.
Right.
Okay.
But I mean, he did. But wait, he did couch that in terms of wages are outpacing inflation. So he didn't say, you know, inflation is zero.
Well, okay, but that's wages in general. But once you look at the working class as compared to the wealthy, they're still nowhere near, but they're catching up to inflation. I mean, real wages have declined for the median household income. That's just a fact. So
You know, I think I think the point too. Sorry to interrupt, but I think the point is too. I mean, you just look at the surveys, the right track, wrong track question, and economic security leading the wrong track question, where a supermajority of Americans think the country's on the wrong track, and you have to address that anxiety. And sometimes just sort of coming over the top and saying we're making great progress and it's going to be the land of milk and honey, and you know, when the tax cuts kick in, you know, is just creating some very high expectations.
That is right, and I don't know. I feel like he's missing the mark. You know, like right now. We have a disease epidemic, chronic disease epidemic in this country with disability, mental illness, substance abuse, deep financial strain, you know, the crime problem, the DEI problem. Trump has done great things to begin to reverse some of this stuff, but it just takes time, and I just don't think it's wise for Trump to own, you know, everything that's going on. I know there's some bit of subtlety here. He's still blaming other things, but you know, in a speech like this, you have to have just one message. And I think I know you're suffering, but I'm doing my best. I've got a lot of barriers in front of me. The courts are still after me. We need to get the Democrats out of the way to reform health care. Whatever he wants to say would have been better than anything that would take responsibility for this business situation. I think he's implemented a lot of fixes, but a lot of those fixes are going to take time. So one other point I want to make about this, I'm sorry to go back to this inflation issue again, but he is urging the Fed to lower interest rates. That is going to create what's in effect quantitative easing, which really does risk a second wave of inflation. This is my number one concern.
Yeah.
And we are going to see, like, okay, inflation clocked in at 2.7 this morning. That's much higher than it was after in the immediate aftermath of his inauguration, which miraculously, for about a month, inflation fell to 1%. That's about where we need it to be. In the meantime, it keeps ticking up and keeps ticking up. And, you know, we don't know for sure where this is going to end up, but one way to guarantee that it goes higher is to keep agitating for lower and lower rates like he's doing. And I don't know if it's that he doesn't understand the connection between Federal Reserve policy and inflation, or what's happening here. But this is
I think he wants, you know, the markets to perform well and people to be happy about what their 401ks look like. That's what I think.
Yeah, he's looking at it from a financial point of view. You always want the lowest rates, and Wall Street loves low rates, right? So right. I think you might be right, but this is very short-term thinking, and we've already got into the quantitative measure of monetary aggregate is higher now than it's ever been. Quantitative easing is already a thing, and it's very worrisome. There's another factor, too. We're not spending. In the old days, the U.S. could avoid the consequences of monetary expansion by all the outgoing dollars. Like, we used to spend a lot more on imported goods. That meant that we get the goods and get rid of the paper, right? But now, with the trade deficit falling as dramatically as it is, and it is falling dramatically, those dollars are staying home and increasing the velocity of money domestically, risking the setting off of lower purchasing power per dollar unit. So that's a perverse kind of effect you wouldn't have expected, but there it is.
I wanted to get your reaction to something else. I know you posted about it on X. This interesting report by Matthew Schmitz over at Compact, looking at the hiring of millennial white men in professional America over the last decade, between 2014 and 2024. White men dropped from 48% of entry-level TV writers in 2011 to 12% a decade later. In academia, from 39% of humanities tenure-track hires at Harvard to 18% over the course of a decade again. UC Irvine, 64 tenure-track professors hired in humanities and social science since 2020, only three out of 64 white men. there are myriad examples outside of media and academia. Medical schools, at Amazon, mid-level managers fell from 55.8% white male in 2014 to 34% in 2024. At Google, white men went from nearly half of the workforce to under a third. Journalism, et cetera, et cetera. The point here is there was a concerted effort at the height of DEI, which ramped up between 2014 and 2024, to exclude white male millennials from the workforce. And when you do things that are rooted in identitarian politics, you create all sorts of negative externalities, just like if you discriminate against any other race based on their race as opposed to their talent and ability. And this is something that has to be addressed.
That article was extraordinary, and it highlighted a point I had not considered, which is that the impact of DEI is generational. They can't, because of tenure, because of a lot of things, they can't just fire old white men, right? They're there. But in order to make the numbers look prettier, the young white men are the ones who bore the brunt of the hardcore discrimination in many, many professions. I had not ever considered that point before reading this article. And
by the way, the title of the article is The Lost Generation, specifically to the point you're making.
Absolutely stunning. The point he's making is obvious once you think about it. Of course, it's going to be anybody entering the workforce after 2014, so basically 11 years ago, was targeted. White men were targeted as having to bear the brunt so that the overall numbers would look prettier for purposes of compliance with DEI standards. So you've got a whole generation of men, white men, that feel themselves to be hardcore discriminated against based on their biology. This is not anything you can change. Right. It's not as if there's any switch and you chose to be a white man. This is just who you are, and because of who you are, you're being hobbled in your professional prospects. This is precisely what civil rights legislation was designed to prevent, and yet you've got a whole generation of white men who know very, very well that this is a policy, and it's making them bitter and alienated and furious at an unfair, essentially un-American system. It's a scandal.
Yeah. And maybe the parents of some of those white men want to take judicial notice of this too.
Yeah, and it just also, the other thing I took away from that article is it's going to take a lot more than a few executive orders, to fix it.
Yes.
The problem is so deeply embedded and endemic in all of the sort of laptop professional class jobs everywhere. Media and academia, everywhere.
One Supreme Court decision and some executive orders, that's not going to be enough when it is so embedded. Even with this week, we had this big sort of restatement of commitment to DEI at Chick-fil-A, of all places. And so it is still very much there. Maybe Robin DiAngelo and Ibram Kendi aren't enjoying the speaking fees they did a few years ago, but what the damage that they helped to engender is still very much present and continuing to inflict damage.
Yeah, I have to admit to being a little naive. I thought when Trump took office, all this stuff would be unfashionable, that we'd turn the corner. But it seems like it's going to take a lot more than that. And all these institutions are actually doubling down on their DEI policies as a way of demonstrating their commitment. The other point he made was really chilling. If you're a white man and seeking to get into one of these lines of professional class work, you have to go out of your way, like above and beyond, in declaring your fealty to DEI agendas in order even to get in the door. So if you're a white man, being higher in academia, you have to sign a pledge. You have to, your research program has to be about DEI. You have to, essentially apologize for being white and being male in order to make any progress there. That approaches Stalinist level discrimination.
Before we let you go, I did want to give you an opportunity to talk about your new book, Spirits of America.
Yeah.
It's how to live the Epicurean life in America.
Well, everybody really likes the book, I have to say. I've gotten more compliments on this book than anything I've ever written. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's necessarily political at all. It's just a sort of a deep reflection on the core values that built this country, many of which we've lost, that all of which we need to reclaim as we visit the 250th anniversary. The themes were taken from a book by Eric Sloan that's been forgotten. It was written 50 years ago. It's been forgotten. In fact, it's out of print. So I wanted to bring the book back in print, but I was unable to. So I thought, well, I'm just going to write a book about the book. But I like it because it's something that everyone can read, regardless of your politics, and it really does speak to sort of fundamental values, about work and patience and frugality and a lot of the values that built this country that we've either taken for granted or completely forgotten. So that's the purpose of the book. And it's short, but it's the only book I've ever written that I keep a copy right next to me on my computer and pick it up and read it during the day to remind myself of the lesson. Yeah.
Very good. Jeffrey Tucker, founder and president of the Brownstone Institute, senior economics columnist for the Epoch Times. His new book, pick it up. Great stocking stuffer. Spirits of America, Jeffrey Tucker. Jeffrey, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
I appreciate the airtime. All the best.
All the best. Merry Christmas. And Jeffrey, join us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Santa's coming to town. Oh, my God.
On AM 560.
Santa here? I know him.
The Answer.
We couldn't decide if we needed in-home care for Dad.
Right. Just some help here and there with bathing, organizing his meds, a walk through the neighborhood.
Oh, exactly. But everywhere we looked, we had a 4-hour minimum. It was more care than he needed. And it didn't make sense to spend extra for it.
Then we found Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. No minimum hours. We were shocked.
Now a caregiver stops by once or twice a week for just an hour or two to help with the small things that make a big difference.
And Mom loves the visits. It's not just help. It's companionship.
At Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, we understand that not every family needs round-the-clock care. We serve DuPage, Cook, Kane, Kendall, and Will counties. We conduct free in-home assessments and we guarantee compatibility. Call Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest today at 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care. Only better.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
Nothing beats the comfort of a perfectly heated home.
And when it comes to heating your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Air Right Heating and Cooling is fast. When your furnace breaks down, they'll fix it right away.
Just like that. Big time results. No waiting around. You get the job done right. And let's face it, who doesn't love being warm, right? It's beautiful. When it's freezing, I crank up that amazing furnace. Burn, baby, burn. Trust me, you'll say, wow, I've never felt this warm in my life.
If you like keeping your hard-earned money, then contact Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you, and right now you'll receive $56 off any service.
Unbelievable.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
Hello, my name is Dr. Michael Huber, co-founder and developer of Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail. From all of us at Virago, we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah and a Happy New Year. To our incredible 560 AM listeners, we want to say thank you for your support this year. It has meant the world to us. And we want you to celebrate, cherish these moments, and most importantly, be safe and healthy. The H3N2 variant is on the horizon, and we want you to be ready. Don't wait until it's too late. Be prepared. Protect your family during this holiday season. Stay healthy with Virogo. And Merry Christmas.
Flu season is here. Boost your immune system with Virogo and protect yourself. Order your bottle of Virogo online today. Visit myvirogo.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30% at checkout. That's myvirogo.com.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that they are making it through. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow 5-pack for $29.98. My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25, and a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.99. Kings only $1 more. 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. We know MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced that they are extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. Promo code LIBERTY.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up at 8:38, we'll talk to Washington Times columnist Jed Babin, former DOD official, about, the warrior dividend that Trump announced during his remarks yesterday night, as well as the pressure campaign on Maduro and Venezuela and what comes next and what should come next. Jed Babin, 8:38. Now we check the headlines.
Good morning. It is 49 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. The Chicago City Council is set to meet today to consider a budget for the city. According to reports, the plan being considered is the so-called alternative plan to Mayor Brandon Johnson's initial proposal. Right now, that plan is just a few votes shy of being able to override a veto by Johnson. A vote on the city's budget could take place as early as tomorrow. A teenager is dead this morning after shots were fired into a home in the Chicago Lawn area. According to reports, that shooting took place just before 1:30 this morning. The suspect reportedly ran from the scene. The team was transported to an area hospital where he was pronounced dead. 2 people have died following a plane crash at DuPage Airport yesterday afternoon. According to officials with the FAA, that accident happened just before 2 o'clock as the twin-engine Piper PA-30 crashed just after takeoff. The cause of the crash is under investigation. This report is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Big savings on full-mouth dental implants are here at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Medical insurance can make what used to cost a fortune surprisingly affordable. Don't wait. Take the 60-second quiz to see if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Gallagher questions the other side of the aisle.
We got Democrats now lining up in support of Luigi Mangione. We got Democrats who are supporting narco-terrorists. We got Democrats who support open borders and are against the enforcement of our immigration laws. I want to get along with Democrats. I don't know how I get along with people who support cold-blooded killers and narco-terrorists.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9 on AM 560, The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank that cares about your business and is invested in your success. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Chris Johnson, CEO of Classic Cinemas and proud customer of Signature Bank. We are a local family-owned business that is known for free refills on all sizes of popcorn, soft drinks, and ices. With over 9,000 heated recliners in 16 locations, we marry the traditions of the past with today's state-of-the-art technology. Throw in a 30-minute guarantee and an after-movie mint, and you have the perfect night out. As we strive to make every guest our priority, Signature Bank does the same with their customers. The team at Signature Bank is interested in taking my company forward. They have all the resources and solutions of the big banks, but they customize their offerings to meet my business needs. The customer always comes first with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I'm Rob Cole, owner of Cole Digital in Frankfort, the finished basement experts. Our CAD design team will craft a one-of-a-kind plan with a custom bar or kitchenette, a wine cellar, fitness room with a glass entry, and one of our signature home theaters or media rooms. With a Sony laser projector, 120-inch screen, and Dolby Digital surround sound. Or a video wall so you can watch 5 games at once. Acoustic treatment and architectural lighting complete the look. Tour our Cold Digital Smart Living Design Center, the largest in America, 15,000 square feet, 5 themed theaters, 5 gourmet kitchens, and 30 rooms of audio-video, lighting, smart home technology, and great design ideas. We're a conservative-owned local company that also gives back to our community. Visit us at colddigital.com. That's K-O-L-E, digital.com. Or call us at 815-469-2000, and we'll bring the showroom to you. Cold Digital, what smart living is all about.
Don't get stuck with a cold shower this winter. Give CenterGuard Plumbing a call. Get a new 40-gallon water heater installed for just $1,195 for standard installation, or a 50-gallon heater for $1,295 standard installation. A proud new sponsor of AM 560, CenterGuard is offering specials on new water heaters. Old man winter is here. Don't get stuck in the cold, and the same can happen to your water heater. If you're having hot water issues or your water heater's over 8 years old, take advantage of this winter special today. CenterGuard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon, and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. They'll even haul away your old one, no charge. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive winter special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit CenterGuardPlumbing.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Destination Retirement with Robert Kuhn. Tune in Sunday mornings from 11 to 12 for Destination Retirement with Robert Kuhn, sponsored by Kuhn Capital Partners in Oak Brook.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Jam-packed on the northbound side of Lakeshore Drive as you head towards Hollywood Avenue, and it is just bumper to bumper on the outbound Kennedy from Montrose Avenue to Harlem Avenue. So it's 37 minutes from the Byrne interchange to O'Hare. Inbound is 47 minutes. The express lanes inbound slow down by Ohio Street. On the eastbound Reagan Memorial, there's a stall blocking the left lane on the exit ramp for the Tri-State. Stop and go on the Tri-State northbound approaching the Eisenhower. 43 minutes inbound on the Eisenhower from Wolf to the Old Post Office. Outbound is 26. Inbound Stevenson is 38 minutes from the Tri-State to Lakeshore. Outbound is 28. 34 minutes inbound on the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Byrne Interchange. Outbound is 15. This report is a service of SuperSure. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get SuperSure. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, not a little sure, but SuperSure. The seismic shift is coming. SuperSure coming soon. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be windy with periods of rain tapering off by early afternoon. The high temperature will reach 50 degrees. Tonight, expect low clouds, breezy conditions, and a significant drop in temperature with a few snow showers possible. Be cautious of a quick freeze as the low dips to 12 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here, and yesterday's primetime Christmas address from the president included something that wasn't predicted but was offered, as well as something that was predicted that wasn't offered. Let's start with the surprise that was offered, Trump's warrior dividend.
Tonight, I am also proud to announce that more than 1,450,000, think of this, 1,450,000 military service members will receive a special, we call warrior dividend before Christmas, a warrior dividend. In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776. Think of that. And the checks are already on the way.
Okay. And something that was anticipated that did not come to be was Trump addressing the situation with respect to Venezuela, particularly after he ordered a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers entering and leaving Venezuela. That, of course, the dictator there, Maduro, denounced as warmongering. There was general description of Trump playing the role of peacemaker in his first 10 months in office, in his second term. But there was not a discussion of Venezuela with any specificity in terms of what the plan is, how far the president wants to take this, and how he is going to go about wherever he wants to go. Ari Fleischer, in anticipation, former Bush spokeshuman, Ari Fleischer, in anticipation that Venezuela would be something that was addressed, had this to say prior to the speech in terms of whenever, whether it's in this speech or subsequent to last night's speech, the president at some point has to provide a public case for whatever it is he is trying to accomplish with respect to Venezuela. It seemed pretty clear that he wants Maduro to go, but the lengths to which he is willing to go to affect that outcome.
Yeah, I think for most of the American people, everything vis-a-vis Venezuela is unexplained. I don't think the American people understand or know, have probably never even heard of him for the most part, Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, and what's wrong with him? What's our beef with him? What's our beef with Venezuela? President Trump hasn't explained it thoughtfully to the American people. So it's a lot of tough, knee-jerk action that's pretty good against drugs. I support it. The action against the tankers. In most cases, well, in the case previously, that was under a warrant, and that tanker was an unauthorized tanker. It wasn't even flagged, which is a violation of international law. So he has good reasons, but he's not explaining them. And I think if he wants the support of the American people for another foreign venture, he needs to explain it.
And right now, Quinnipiac polling, the American people oppose a war in Venezuela by a 3-1 margin, in part perhaps because of what Ari Fleischer is suggesting. For more on these topics and others, pleased to be joined by Jed Babin, former U.S. Deputy Undersecretary of Defense and contributor to the Washington Times and the American Spectator. Jed, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. So first, the Warrior dividend. Do you like that move?
Yeah, I do. I think we have had a lot of people underpaid in the military for a very long time, and I think we really need to make up for that, at least partially, with this Warrior dividend. I have no problem with that at all. It's going to cost a couple of $2 billion, but you know what? That's budget dust in the whole Pentagon budget.
That's true. Yeah, no, a little Christmas bonus for our men and women in uniform. That sits well with me, too. I concur. So let's move on to more involved topics. The situation in Venezuela and whether or not you agree with Ari Fleischer's assessment.
Well, I agree with some of it. The fact of the matter is we don't have legal authority to seize the drug boats, to attack them, blow them up. That could be done generally under the constitutional authority of the president, but it's gone on for so long that we have the War Powers Act coming into play. Over 60 days, he's got to explain it. He's got to get an authorization to use of military force. I don't think that's really going to happen. As to the blockade, so-called, of the tankers, I think he's made a very good decision. I think we've got a problem with Venezuela, which is not a vital national security question, but it is nevertheless an annoyance and a problem. So seizing the tanker, number one, is a good thing. Blockading the rest of the sanctioned tankers is also a very good thing. And it'll probably kill the Venezuelan oil market in the long term.
What do you think in terms of when you said you don't think that he could get an authorization of use of force? Well, why not?
Well, I don't think there's unity in the Congress. Number one, he hasn't explained much of anything in terms of what he wants to do. I agree with Ari Fleischer to that extent. But I don't believe that there is enough unity in Congress in any event, whether he explains it or not. Whether Trump explains what he wants to do or not, he's not going to get an authorization to use of military force. I just don't see that there's enough people in the Senate or, frankly, even in the House to go along with that.
It's interesting because, I mentioned the opposition to, quote unquote, war with Venezuela, but the flip side of that is the polling that shows the American people supportive of the administration taking out those narco boats because, he at least makes the case, which is fairly straightforward, is these are narco traffickers. They're bringing fentanyl to our shores and other illicit drugs, and we're taking them out before they get here. And that's simplistic enough for people to readily understand and support.
Well, it's enough for people to understand and support, but it's not enough legally. Trump has a problem there. I don't think it's a very serious problem. I don't think Congress is going to make any big fuss about it. But I do believe he needs to explain to the American people what's going on a lot better. And he certainly needs to, before we go in with any ground operation into Venezuela, he needs to make clear what vital national security interests we have. And I don't believe we have one.
How did you receive the announcement that DOD was not going to make public that quote-unquote second strike video of the boat that was taken out, one of those narco boats taken out? Is that particularly important?
Well, it's not particularly important, but it's getting to be important by virtue of the fact that a lot of people are just not going to forget it. They're not going to be letting up on, and the Democrats not going to let up in Congress. So I think they need to release the video, and what's more, they need to come to some sort of conclusion as to whether or not that strike was legal. I don't believe it was, the second strike at least, in terms of that boat, and whether we killed a bunch of people who weren't resisting. That would be a war crime. That would be a crime of the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
Well, right, but of course the admiral who made the call, who briefed Congress behind closed doors, made the argument that those individuals were still in the fight, and obviously he had the backing of Hegseth and Trump on that.
Yeah, I don't know that's going to wash. I think in the long term it's a bad decision. I think holding the video back is a bad decision. Let's get it all out. Let's see what happened. And if the admiral is guilty of some sort of crime, then he ought to be punished. And if anybody else was involved, they ought to be punished as well.
Skipping over to Eastern Europe, the framework for a cessation of hostilities there. I mean, it seems like Trump has gained an understanding that Putin is not interested in peace. There's been a lot more discussion that, including sort of that Vanity Fair interview that Susie Wiles gave, that suggests there's a recognition that Putin has designs on the whole country, and to that point is not interested in any sort of brokered peace deal. And if that's true, what is the U.S. and the Trump administration to do?
Well, number one, it's been very obvious for a long time. I mean, I wrote back in July, I think, in the Washington Times about the fact that that Putin's philosopher, Alexander Dugin, has basically said, has written, in fact, that if Putin does not reconquer Ukraine, he might as well not bother to try to restore the rest of the Russian Empire. So I don't think Putin is ever going to give up on this. And I think as long as Putin is alive, I don't think this is going to be settled. And I don't think we are doing ourselves a lot of favors in terms of trying to stop the aid to Ukraine.
So in terms of how this plays out in the short term, say the rest of President Trump's term, do you predict this sort of stalemate where things are at present?
Well, I don't think there's really a stalemate going on. I think number one, Ukraine is running out of money. They're absolutely up against it in terms of what's going to happen in terms of their being able to purchase weapons and systems and provide the rest of their economy. So I don't think this is going to be a stalemate for very long. Russia is continuing to attack the Ukrainian infrastructure, especially energy, and he's not going to give up on this. So I don't think it's a war of attrition at this point, but there's going to be some sort of a breakthrough at some point soon that we're not going to be able to handle in terms of basically Ukraine just existing on its own.
Well, so, I mean, is your supposition then that this is just a matter of time and maybe short of formal U.S. involvement and more significant European involvement, that that's what it is, a matter of time.
Well, I think it is. On the other hand, again, I don't believe, as like in Venezuela, we do not have a vital national security interest in Ukraine. The Europeans do.
Mm-hmm.
They absolutely have an interest and a vital national security interest, but I don't think they're going to stand up and back Ukraine to the extent it needs to be backed. I think we are now in a position where, Ukraine could very well fall to Russia in the next 6 months.
I want to get your reaction as well to the news that Dan Bongino is leaving the FBI end of the year, basically. That's actually something Susan Crabtree from RealClearPolitics.com told us weeks ago that was going to happen. You heard it here. But at the FBI, I know this isn't the FBI has a counterterrorism role, as we saw with the interdiction of that New Year's Eve terrorist plot in California. And so, so just your assessment of Bongino, the state of the FBI in conjunction with, their national security function.
Well, the FBI is very resistant to reform. I don't know whether Bongino's ouster is basically as a result of personality conflicts or whatever. But I do think that, there's some things going on with the FBI that are not good. And they have not been good for quite some time, especially, the business of going after the congressional emails and phone calls and so forth. That's got to be explained a whole lot better than it has been. But at this point, again, I just don't know what's behind Bongino's retirement or ouster.
Jed Babin, former U.S. Deputy Undersecretary of Defense, contributor to the Washington Times and the American Spectator. Jed, thank you as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.
And Jed joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
I want Christmas. Just give me plain baby Jesus lying in a manger. Christmas.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Honey, why does it take you so long to get ready?
Oh, because I've got one tiny sink. I'm trying to balance makeup on the back of the toilet, and the mirror's always fogged up.
Sounds like a circus act.
Exactly. And I perform every morning.
At Forever Remodeling, we create bathrooms that fit your life, not the other way around. From extra storage to spa-like showers and timeless finishes, we make your mornings easier. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com.
Hey, you want to give the gift they'll actually use this holiday? Peace of mind? Give the people in your life something that will protect them. Go to BYRNA.com today. They are the world leader in less lethal personal defense. It's compact, it's concealable, it's powerful. The newest burner compact fits in a pocket, a purse, while delivering real stopping power for up to 60 feet away. I carry one every day. I recommend every family have a burner, every person have one. Now, it fires potent, kinetic, and aerosol rounds that can stop any attacker in their tracks for up to 40 minutes. It's legal in all 50 states. You don't need a background check. It ships right to your door. Burner gives both the gift giver and the recipient peace of mind, not just for the holidays, but all year round and for many years to come. Protect your loved ones. Safety is priceless. Visit BYRNA.com today and find the right launcher for you and your family. That's BYRNA.com.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that they are making it through. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow 5-pack for $29.98. My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25, and a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.99. Kings only $1 more. 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. We know MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced that they are extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. Promo code LIBERTY.
If you're looking for a watch that makes a statement, Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville has the perfect timepiece for you. Hi, it's it's Mike Gallagher. Rollins carries my favorite watch brand, Tag Heuer. Tag Heuer is all about precision with a sleek, bold style. And I've got a Tag Heuer watch from my friends at Rollins Jewelers. I love it. They've got a great selection of other fashion-forward watch brands like Bell & Ross, Movado, Tissot, and Michelle, or consider Rollins' iconic collection of pre-owned Rolexes. Let Rollins watch specialists help you find the perfect timepiece that fits your style and have their terrific experts show you the Tag Heuer watch that I bought from Rollins. Ask for it by name. Tell them it's Mike Gallagher's watch. Visit Rollins Jewelers in downtown Libertyville or RollinsJewelers.com. That's Rollins, ROLLANDS, RollinsJewelers.com, or call them 847-918-7300. 847-918-7300. Rollins Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler you can trust, just like I do.
The team at Fox Valley Coins would like to wish your family a very Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy, and prosperous New Year. Thank you for making Fox Valley Coins one of the largest coin dealers in the entire Midwest. With our current prices and market conditions for coins and precious metals, 2026 will be a very busy year. Experts in all major forms of gold, silver, platinum, and palladium, Fox Valley Coins also specialize in rare and collector coins and currency. For your large estate collections, Fox Valley Coins will even make house calls to your home or bank to appraise or buy your collections. Fox Valley Coins on Route 59 in Naperville, Illinois. Family-owned integrity since 1981. Fox Valley Coins will be closed Christmas Eve through Sunday, January 4th, celebrating Jesus' birth with family. And for year-end inventory, we're back open on Monday the 5th. Visit foxvalleycoins.com. That's foxvalleycoins.com. This Christmas, remember, Jesus is God's gift to man.
At Terra Vista of Oakbrook Terrace, dementia care isn't just what we do, it's all we do. We specialize in caring for those with Alzheimer's and other types of dementia. We're on the forefront of dementia care with a barrier-free, stress-free environment, so residents can explore safely and feel at home. But what truly sets Terra Vista apart? Personalized care. We take the time to learn each resident's story, where they lived, their routines, former careers, even the names of family members. Anyone who interacts with your loved one can immediately make them feel comfortable and understood. We meet our residents right where they are. Residents stay strong and engaged with multi-sensory activities, music, art, horticulture, our beautiful 18,000 square foot outdoor space, and even a personal trainer. At Terra Vista, residents aren't defined by their dementia. We honor the whole person. Speak to an advisor or schedule a tour today at terravista.org. Again, that's terravista.org, and tell them AM 560 sent you.
AM 560, The
Answer. We got to clear out our Christmas music inventory, so let me include this.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away. Yes, Dad, you said it from cash. I'm giving it some satisfaction. Merry Christmas.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful. You know, it can't all be Mannheim Steamroller. So thank you. That was a little karaoke. Always nice. Just like, it's been a very musical show, so I thought I'd finish on a high note. Really high note. Sharp note. Thank you for joining us on another edition. Last show of the year for me tomorrow. Please join us. It is now 9 o'clock on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
Stocks are rising because inflation's falling. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Dow surging up around 200 points after we found out instead of a 3% increase in the annual rate of consumer prices last month.
Inflation reading just came up for November, 2.7% from a year earlier.
Fox's Rich Edson at the White House, where President Trump told us last night he's bringing prices down from a Biden-era surge.
Over the past 11 months, we have brought more positive change to Washington than any administration in American history.
Back to Rich Edson with a reaction to his address from the left.
The Senate's top Democrat, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, says, quote, President Trump's speech last night showed he lives in a bubble, completely disconnected from the reality everyday Americans are seeing and feeling. People are feeling squeezed harder and harder every day, and last night Donald Trump took a victory lap.
Now, another report this morning shows a 5% drop in first-time unemployment claims last week, down to 224,000, though the number of continuing claims, people still collecting benefits, rose to 1.9 million. The president also last night touted all the revenue that his tariffs are bringing in, announcing bonus checks for U.S. military members ahead of the 250th American birthday.
We are sending every soldier $1,776
The U.S. military blew up another boat said to be trafficking drugs off the Venezuela coast, killing another 4 alleged narco-terrorists. And the U.S. is sending Taiwan more military aid.
The $10 billion package includes medium-range missiles, howitzers, and drones. According to the State Department, selling these weapons to Taiwan serves U.S. national economic and security interests. But China's condemned the deal. The Foreign Ministry in Beijing says it gravely harms Chinese sovereignty and risks turning Taiwan into a powder keg.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Day 6 of the manhunt for the Brown University shooter who killed 2 students and wounded 9 Saturday, as police keep trying to ID a person of interest in surveillance videos. America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today will be windy with periods of rain tapering off in the early afternoon. The high temperature will reach 50. Tonight, expect low clouds, breezy conditions, and much colder weather with a few snow showers. Be cautious of a rapid freeze-up as the temperature drops to a low of 12. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Would you like to have your mortgage or rent paid for all of 2026? That sounds like a Christmas miracle, doesn't it?
This is what Christmas is all about.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what AM 560